Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
Do you know Robin Williams passed away?
No, come on.
No, serious.
Oh, yes, Steve is saying you need to refresh the page. I agree. It looks like
Well,
it.
they can't hear you.
Yep,
They need to refresh the page. They can't hear you say they need to refresh the page.
that's true. That's a good
But
point.
look at it.
Anyway, our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. Oh, so Rudy says that everything was okay over there. It wasn't over here.
Yeah. Well, that's a
Interesting.
good thing.
That's inconsistent though. Rudy, are you on Bamboozer or are you watching on one of the other streams? I'm just wondering. Oops. Why did my Bamboozer just die?
Uh-oh. Don't know. I'm not
No,
monitoring.
not this. The stream on this machine. It may be just the T1. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, we don't know where Nick is this morning. I mean, I know he said that he's not going to be able to stay for the whole show.
Maybe he's asleep.
Yeah, well, and he can do that.
Yep.
He's been working hard lately, hasn't he?
Yes, he's been a good boy.
Yep. Oh, I thought Obama was with us here in the chat.
Oh, Banta.
Yeah, I know. I didn't read it right. And what do you know? There's Pete already. Pete, first thing in the morning. What's going on, Pete?
I don't know.
All right.
I just got up.
All right.
Sound
That's fine.
okay?
That's fine. It sounds fine.
All right. Overcast.
So
Move this to the other monitor here. There we go.
this morning on Fox News, there was somebody who was showing the what the iPhones may look like, and it's pretty interesting. Good morning, Tim. It's pretty interesting. We may get an iPhone that's like a 7-inch.
Gonna run out and buy you one?
The what?
Gonna run out and buy you one?
No. And it was interesting to sit there and watch what they were talking about. But Mike, here's something for you.
Okay.
A Grand Ayatollah in Iran has determined that access to high-speed and 3G internet is against Sharia and against moral standards. However, Iran's Pete, I don't want to mute you, Pete. However, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani plans to renew licenses and expand the country's 3G cellular phone network. A radical MP associated with the Conservative Resistance Front warned, if the minister continues to go ahead with increasing bandwidth and internet speed, then we will push for his impeachment and removal from cabinet. We will vigorously prevent all attempts by the communication minister to expand 3G technology, and if our warnings are not heeded, then the necessary course of action will be taken, he added. I would say let's import him to the United States. How about that?
I don't know. I mean, what's the big deal?
He wants to raise speed and to expand it, and the religious guys say, no, this is immoral.
But why? I mean,
I don't know. They don't say why.
There's got to be a reason why. I mean, every religion that has a problem with something can articulate the reason why it's opposed
probably
to
because people have access to porn and stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, if they've got an obesity problem, they need to ban forks.
And it may also be that they don't want people to be able to communicate real fast. I don't know. The point is that here is somebody who's trying to do good by the people. And can you imagine?
They're losing control.
The what?
They're losing control.
Maybe, but they're not losing control if they're going to be able to get him to impeach him. That means they do have control. I'm sure Iran has a kill switch.
Well, we have one.
Yeah, and they keep on testing it all the time.
No, that's just Time Warner. Did you see what Sean got last night?
What? No, I did not.
What we're talking about, we have a buddy Sean out in California, out near Leo Laporte. He's on Comcast. He reset his modem last night, and he went from 30 megabits down, 5 megabits up, to 100 megabits down and 10 megabits up.
Wow. Well,
now we hate him.
You what?
Now we hate him.
Nah, we don't hate him.
Okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
Fios is leveling out the field here. I got 75 down. We're going to have 75 up soon.
Where is here?
Rolling that out. Well, Holiday, Florida. It's in Florida. Fios people. Verizon.
Well, Andrew's got... Sorry, Mike.
How long have you had Fios?
2 years.
How much do you have to pay for it, and what are your speeds now?
I got 75, 35, and it's about $90, I guess. I don't actually, since I bought the TV too, I don't know exactly what it is.
Well, look who's here.
Sorry, I was getting ready for work.
Right.
Good morning.
Did you see what Sean got overnight?
I didn't.
New speed test. 100 down, 10 up.
Oh. You know what I do see? Mike doesn't have a lower third on. Look at that. Unprepared.
Oh, no.
What the world was that?
Unprepared.
Well, that's why we need you here. Quit slacking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
What is that sound?
I don't know.
Oh, I heard it too. What is that sound?
I have no idea.
Oh, well.
Walmart employees are infuriated by the company's decision to implement a new dress code. The company says the new requirements taking effect September 29th are meant to make it easier for customers to identify employees in the stores. The dress code includes white or navy collared shirts with khaki or black pants, closed-toed shoes, and an updated royal blue Walmart branded vest. Walmart is covering the cost of only the vest. Dozens of employees say they can't afford to buy clothes that fit the requirements. I'm just reading what it says. They also complain that the change doesn't address the myriad of problems they are plaguing their new stores, such as severe understaffing, empty shelves, lack of air conditioning, and broken equipment. More than half of the associates are on food stamps, can't afford to buy a vehicle to get to work, so they have to bum rides from other employees, said an employee at a Texas Walmart. A customer service manager in Boise, Idaho, said, "I've been an employee of Walmart for the past 3 years and have gone through more required dress code changes than I can count. It's completely ridiculous." Walmart associates include full and part-time workers making an average wage of $11.83 an hour, or nearly $25,000 a year, assuming a 40-hour work week. Our Walmart is a group that's fighting for higher wages at Walmart, is claiming that most workers make under $9 an hour based on other data, where the minimum wage in the United States is $7.25 an hour. So what do you think? I mean,
well, let me ask you a question. Why don't these people go get another job?
Exactly.
Boy, don't be a hater.
No, seriously.
Well,
go get another job.
Go ahead, Pete.
Get another job, just like Nick said.
Nobody
works full-time at Walmart. It's not allowed. No, absolutely no benefits.
The problem is that there aren't a whole lot of jobs out there. This business about unemployment being below 7% or whatever the number is now is total fiction.
I disagree, Mike.
It doesn't matter. If you disagree, it's a fact. The real unemployment rate is probably closer to about 18%.
Okay, so we talk about the real unemployment rate. Now that I have, I guess, become of age to find a job, driving around at least my area, I would say just yesterday I had to go to work, and it's a 15-minute drive to work and a 15-minute drive home. I saw probably 3 help wanted signs between my house and work yesterday.
Where were they?
One was a bagel shop. The other one was what?
No benefits. Go ahead.
The other one was Hobby Lobby, which we just have been in the news recently for their big. They don't want to pay into the standardized healthcare thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was a grocery store. There are jobs out there.
But these are no better than the Walmart jobs. They're the same thing.
Well, we have a family member that works for Walmart, and I have friends that work for the local grocery store here, and I would say that working at the local grocery store is a whole hell of a lot better than working at Walmart.
Why is that? What are the differences that you're aware of?
Well, my cousin, who is 25 now, her husband works for a Walmart out in Michigan, and they treat their employees like garbage. There's a store that's 15 minutes from their house, and he has to drive an hour and 45 minutes to work because they will not transfer him.
A Walmart?
A Walmart. Yep.
That makes no sense at all. You can't afford to work at Walmart and drive an hour and 45 minutes each way.
He's not just a regular stocking shelves. He does security for them, but they refuse to transfer him. He's tried to transfer it here, because my cousin's family is all here. He's tried to transfer to South Carolina because there's family there as well, and it's just they don't let him. He applies and he never hears anything back every time.
Donovan says the problem is we're in an economy of nothing but part-time jobs. That's why the unemployment numbers are wrong. They count part-time jobs as full-time jobs. That's only half of the equation. The other half of the equation is that once people have fallen off of unemployment, when their benefits have run out, when they stop looking for work and stop applying for unemployment because they're no longer qualified, they fall off of the unemployment number. Did you know that 92 million people in the United States of America do not work? Now, how does that translate to 6% unemployment? Somebody help me with the math.
I'm an expert.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I'm asking. Pete, explain it to me. How can you have 92 million people unemployed and 6% unemployment?
Sounds like Obama math to me.
Well, I don't want to get into politics. I mean, I agree, but
I don't either.
this has been going on a long time. It's not just
Yeah.
Obama. It's
This is not this is a country problem. This is not a president problem.
so. But how do you have? Again, you're the expert, Nick. 92 million people who do not work.
Okay, I think I know.
There are 320 million people in this country.
The lie has been going on for however long it's been going on. And if somebody comes in there and shakes it up and gets the real number, it will be total chaos. Absolute and total chaos.
I absolutely agree with you.
So then what? That they're just keeping the lie going. The numbers don't mean the numbers don't mean anything. Who cares? Would you rather have the false numbers so that people can say, "Wow, isn't that great? We added what is it? I just saw the thing the other day. 142. I don't even know what it was. 142,000 jobs in the month of August or something like that.
The lowest in the last year.
Yeah. Who cares if that number's a lie? What does that do for me? I have a job. Mike, you have a job. Amnon has a job.
Well, I have people in my family who don't, and they're having trouble finding one.
Okay, but will the number make them finding a job better? If the thing comes out that unemployment, what did you say before? 18%. If it comes out that it's 25%, are they going to be able to find a job easier? Probably not.
I mean, that's a good question. What difference does it make if our news media tell us the truth?
Oh, it's not it's not the news that's telling us the truth.
Well, who is it?
The government posts the numbers.
Then what difference does? But then that's an extremely valid question. Why do we care if the government tells us the truth? Why don't they just make up stuff? Did you read? You haven't read the book 1984 yet, have you?
I have not.
Yeah, you need to get that one.
But in that respect, do you kind of understand what I'm saying there?
Well, absolutely. And again, I'm asking because obviously I mean, for the record, I think the government should be absolutely honest with us, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, Ronald Reagan. But the problem that we're dealing with is that we have generational differences in that the things that are important to Amnon and me, maybe they're not of concern to you, and maybe you're right and we're wrong. So that's
100%
why
accurate.
Ask the question.
It's 100% accurate. Obviously, government shouldn't be lying, but we know what happens, right? What are you going to do? Sit here and talk about it? Great.
Yeah.
But in that respect, for unemployment, I honestly do not think that them accurately giving us the number is going to make any difference when it comes to people getting jobs. You think they come out that say unemployment is 20%, everybody's going to quit Walmart? No, they're going to continue working at Walmart, continue complaining that they don't make enough money, and just go into work every day.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a campaign where people wear pink ribbons on their collars?
Yes. Is that for breast cancer?
Yeah. What's the purpose?
I don't know. I don't understand those either. And to a certain extent, I think that they're absolutely stupid because they don't do anything at all. Go donate money to a charity. Don't wear a stupid pink ribbon.
What is the articulated reason for doing it?
Because you're supporting breast cancer if you wear the ribbon.
What did they say? It's raising awareness, right?
But it's like this ALS thing. You're not raising any awareness for it.
Well, to one extent, I disagree. There are a lot of people. I mean, when you consider the educational crisis going on in this country, I would argue that probably half the people who participated had never heard of ALS before.
See, people haven't heard of ALS, but they've heard of Lou Gehrig's disease,
Well,
which is the same thing.
well, yeah, it's just another name for it. But the point I'm getting to is that you see campaigns to raise awareness. You see the morons in Congress advocating bring our girls back hashtag because they think that running a Twitter campaign is going to get these 300 girls taken slaves in Africa. They're going to get them released. There's a raise awareness. I don't know if there's any benefit to raising awareness, but what I'm getting to is this. For starters, the government shouldn't be lying to us. Anyone who feels otherwise, I guess we're just not going to be able to agree. Second, if the truth were known, would people respond and act differently in the way that they conduct themselves in this country? That it's tough out there. I mean, whenever you have a family member who is unable to find a job, you look at that family member as a deadbeat when in fact he or she may have done everything within his or her power to get a job. How many people are working at McDonald's because they can't find a job with benefits?
Good for them.
Absolutely.
They're doing something instead of sitting home and complaining like every other lazy American. You got to do what you got to do.
Right. And so what would you suggest, Nick, for a person who is, say, 25 years old, type 1 diabetic, and can't find a job that makes enough money to be able to buy health insurance to support the $500 a month that it takes to stay alive?
I don't honestly think I can answer that question because I have not been in the job field long enough.
Okay.
I don't know what's available. I haven't luckily I haven't had to search for a job like most of my peers. I've been fortunate in that respect. I'm not saying there's not a problem, but if I guarantee you, if you're working at a Walmart, there's somewhere else you can go work. I almost guarantee it, but that would mean you'd have to go get an interview at some other place. That would mean you'd have to, after work, go somewhere else and talk to a manager, get a application, or fill out an application online. You can't just walk in and you're instantly hired. I think that's the problem. People don't want to. It's just easier to work for, what is it? What did the study say? $8 an hour or $8.25, whatever they said they thought it was.
It's $7.25 for, I think, what we said, whatever the minimum wage is.
Yeah, it's $7.25 here.
Yeah, and it's going to be 15 very soon.
Say again?
And it's going to be 15 real soon, right?
Right.
Can you imagine paying $14 for a Happy Meal?
Well, it is already. Fast food, I've learned that fast food is extremely expensive. Oh, my. Jeez.
The big three I don't even go to. I don't like those places.
All right.
Well, what'll happen though, if these groups are successful at getting the minimum wage raised that high, you're going to see a crisis in that job market. I mean, we've got all these people that are being allowed into the country to take the low wage jobs, and then we have people complaining that they can't find a job. So unfortunately, it's going to hurt the people who are voting for it. But that's not going to change.
I don't think people really understand where that payroll comes from.
It comes from the payroll fairy.
They must think so, because the guy at the top of the heap is not going to cut his payroll, so he's going to tack it on to whatever service he's providing to get that payroll. So the price of the service is just going to go up.
And at the end of the day, you're still not going to have any money.
No, it's the same thing.
It could be $1 million an hour, and then when a Happy Meal is, $500,000, at the end of the day, you still have $500,000, and it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, and the price of a gallon of milk goes up again.
Exactly, it's domino effect.
And Dr. John makes a point that very few people realize, that a lot of the movement for raising the minimum wage is a methodology by which unions get increases for its workers because their contract says they will be paid some multiple of the federal minimum wage. The minimum wage goes up, the union wages go up. Which brings an interesting question to mind, and I ask this semi-rhetorically, but I would like to know what you guys think. Costco is very much into the current administration, and I don't understand why Costco is not unionized.
Do you know if Sam's Club is unionized?
They are not.
What about BJ's? Are they
not to my knowledge? Someone knows other than what I know, then they can correct me. But
what about grocery stores? They're not normally unionized either.
Well, it
not in
doesn't
this part
matter.
of the country.
Don't give him ideas, Mike.
I think they should be unionized, Amnon. I think they should.
No.
Don't you think that they should be consistent in their philosophy?
Are you saying this tongue in cheek?
I hope so.
It may sound that way, but am I? Not really. I mean, if they're going to go out and vote for you and me to have to unionize our businesses, then why shouldn't they have to live and die by their own sword?
The day of the union is gone.
Well, you say that.
Not if you're a state worker. It's not.
Not up
in
north,
New York.
Pete.
Well, I'm sorry. The unions caused half the problems we got in pricing.
Yeah, but you know what? There's some people who love the union. More power to them. My question is, and I'll ask the chat room, can someone give me a good reason, a good unemotional reason why Costco, who is donating to the unions, participating with the unions at a political level, is there any reason why they should not immediately unionize their business? Now, let me also explain something to you. I have a friend who opened many radio stations. He opened he bought some radio stations up north where the unions are very dominant. Whenever he had one, he sold every one of his radio stations. But as he sold one, he sold it to a very well-known, publicly known member of the AFL-CIO. And of course, I maybe get a little bit of this wrong, but the payoff on it is correct. And my buddy, who is not pro-union, who has, to my knowledge, not had any unions at any of his stations, as they were closing, it came to the closing, then he asked this guy, he said, how quickly are you going to be able to unionize this radio station? And the union leader looked at him and said, are you crazy? He said, I couldn't make a living if I unionized it. This one stays under the radar. How you like that, Nick?
Stays on the radar every Thursday night.
The other thing is, I mean, what's this coffee place? Starbucks. Are they unionized? If not, why not?
And I believe that they've got something. I'm not sure if it's a union, but they've got something similar.
I just don't like hypocrisy.
Let's see. I'm
No.
interested.
And yes, every person alive is hypocritical to a point.
Let's see. Starbucks Union. StarbucksUnion.org. Yep, I guess they do.
Well, read it. Don't just look at the presence of the website.
Hello, Starbucks and workers and supporters. There's a lot of the Starbucks Workers Union. They started in 2008, so I guess there is.
Well, I don't think it's at every store because I don't think they're unionized down here. And again, I don't know. I'm asking.
Union. I guess you'd join the union online. Get started by making work better. We'll put you in contact with organizers in your area. Okay, can I see? I might just put my name in. I want to see if there's something locally in my area.
The pay at Costco is way above minimum wage. Well, let's investigate that. I've got a couple of people looking for jobs. They have benefits. They would certainly be qualified.
They started at $11.50 an hour.
It's
Down
Starbucks?
here. No, Costco.
Oh.
In Florida, they start you at $11.50 an hour. In South Carolina, it's $13.50.
McDonald's in North Dakota is paying $18.
And they have no full-timers either.
Okay, so I went over to Lowe's here in Cary.
Is that the grocery store or the home improvement store?
The home improvement store.
Okay.
And while I was looking for something, I actually was able to find an employee to ask some questions. And a nice middle-class guy, probably 30, 35 years old. And when I see these guys there, it's curious to me what they're doing working at Lowe's instead of working at not that there's anything wrong with Lowe's, but then I was asking him, are you full-time here? He said, nope. He said, I've been here 3 years. And he said, every time there's a full-time opening, I apply for it. And instead of, this is what he told me, I don't know if it's true, instead of them giving me that job, they take the job and divide it into two 20-hour-per-week jobs. He's been there, he said either 2 or 3 years, and he has not been able to get on full-time with benefits.
Interesting.
Costco pays benefits to their part-timers.
Well,
Full
I'm going to look
benefits.
that up. Let's see here. Join Costco.
Well, the reason I know this is my sister-in-law works for Costco. She's been with them 12 years, 15 years, and she's still not full-time. She works a little over 30 hours a week. She makes $22.50 an hour.
Right. Well, 30 hours a week, that's full-time by law.
Maybe it was 28 hours, Mike was telling me.
Mm-hmm.
My brother.
And for
I
some
think it's
people,
true.
that's perfect. I mean, if they've got, for example,
that's all they
working
want.
spouse, that may be
At
all
tw-
they want to work. And 22 hours, pretty good job rate for somebody who wants to bring in some extra cash, it seems to me.
We're getting a Costco here in Pasco County.
We supposedly are getting one near my home in Cary, but I'm disinclined to do business with them. My membership expired, and I've left it that way.
Their memberships are too high.
It's not just that they're playing games. I mean, they're even deciding which books they're going to carry based on content of the books. They're no better than book burners.
You know, it makes sense to me when you're thinking objectively about this. It makes sense for Costco to do it that way, and for any store like that to do it that way, because of two things. One, you're saving because you don't have to pay for benefits. And second, it's better to have two part-time workers that you can put in two shifts. And not only that, but if one is sick, the other one is there. And I'm sure if somebody is working 20 hours part-time job, if they ask that person, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Pete, I don't know. If they ask one of these people to work an extra shift, they'll pay him for it, but they do that, don't they?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But at Costco, from what I understand, Costco, even if you're only working 6 hours a week, you get full benefits, 401k, insurance, and everything.
Okay. So
That's what they told me.
it's more efficient because for somebody to work at Costco 8 hours, by the end of the day, or maybe even middle of the day, you getting kind of, okay, I had it with these people. I had it, your attitude changes.
Yeah.
So if you tell them, okay, you work 4 hours today, and somebody else is coming to work the other 4 hours, now you have a person who comes in fresh to work there. So it's more practical and more efficient for the company to have it that way. It's sort of like the old days when, are you going to have a 1 terabyte hard drive in your computer and partition it? Or would you rather have 300 gig hard drives? In my experience and my idea is to have 3 different hard drives, because if one died and crashed, it's still the other 2 are there, and whatever is on them is still there. While if you have a hard drive that's 1 terabyte, and it crashes, you lose everything. So it's the same thing here. If you have a full-timer that comes to work in the produce section, and that person is sick, Either you find somebody to take his place, but if you don't, what do? It's better to have more people working for you, 100 people that are part-timers, and you can play with where you're going to plug what, than have just 50 people working for you full-time. And the full-timers think, oh, no, I work there. I'm not going to go work in the produce department. I work in electronics. What do you mean?
Amnon, I agree from an employer's perspective. There's no doubt that these companies can and do act on their own best interest. I get that, and I very much support their right to choose to operate their businesses the way they choose. And I'll give you my commentary on that in a moment. But I pulled up Costco's benefits, and I will tell you that at least on surface, this looks pretty good. It says that Costco has one of the most competitive benefit packages in the industry. They provide employees with a full spectrum of benefits, but employees may also elect coverage for their spouses, children, and domestic partners. The company pays a larger percentage of the premiums than do most other retails, and employee-paid premiums are withheld pre-tax. All right, so anyway, U.S. benefit eligibility requirements are as follows. Salaried employees are benefit eligible on the first day of the month after the date of hire, 30 days max. Full-time hourly employees are benefit eligible on the first of the month after working for 90 days, 3 months. Hourly employees, part-time, are benefit eligible on the first of the month after working for 6 months.
That's a long time, yeah.
That's a long time. Full-time benefit eligible Costco employees may choose from 2 different health care options. Full-time benefit eligible Costco employees may choose from 2 different dental plans, pharmacy program, vision program, dependent care assistance, care network, voluntary short-term disability, long-term disability, life insurance, employee stock purchase plan, health care reimbursement account, long-term care insurance. So it all looks good, but here is the question. If they're not hiring anybody full-time, then how many full-time benefit qualified employees are there? None.
You can also look at it this way, though, Mike. If now look from the employee point. If you're going and you're getting that job because that's the only thing available to you, and you landed a part-time job over there, then you will qualify for Medicaid because you're not making enough money. If this is a second job, then you may have some benefits from the first job. So to say that if you are there, you have to be there for 6 months before you're getting benefits doesn't mean that that particular person does not have health insurance for 6 months, because they may have it from somewhere else. They may just going there to get extra cash, and the benefits are meaningless. You don't know, but I mean, you also have to think about, well, if somebody's coming in and it's a stopgap and they're going to stay there for 2 weeks and leave, I mean, it takes a lot of work also for the company to set up all these benefits and pay for your whatever.
Very, very expensive. Very expensive.
Well, it's not very expensive. It's very expensive when you're talking about hundreds of employees. For one employee,
I'm just telling you that I understand from an employer's perspective how expensive it is to have employees and to provide benefits, and I'm sympathetic to that, but I'm all for employees having to work their butt off to get the benefits. But my comment about all this, and this is not Computers 2K jobs, but I think what we're talking about certainly impacts everyone at some level or another. Certainly it impacts me because I've got kids in the family looking for good employment, and they can apply for jobs, not even get callbacks, and they perfectly meet the qualifications. You do some inside investigating and say, without letting people know why you're asking what's going on. And they said, well, we had 2 job openings, got 250 resumes. We couldn't even look at all of them. So it's not exactly a personal assessment of the quality of the people applying. But what I'm saying here is the way to solve this problem is to get a vibrant job market, to get growth in the economy, to get the government off of employers' backs so that they can create more jobs. Let me tell you what would happen. If you want to see a microcosm of where we need to be, go look at North Dakota. Go look at what's going on in North Dakota. They've got an energy boom going on in North Dakota. The McDonald's up there are paying $17, $18 an hour. Unemployment is well below 3%. It is so busy up there, they're having to put in temporary houses and bring in mobile homes for people to have a place to live so that they can work in the oil industry up there. It's very common there was a guy in Atlanta who listened to something on a radio show, went up there, applied for a job. Not only did they hire the guy to work in the field, they hired the guy's wife. I don't recall what they paid the wife, but the husband was making $80,000 a year, and his primary job before that was a truck driver.
Well,
now, what does all that mean? What that means is that if you get a vibrant economy like we had in the 80s, where people are needed, all of this hourly crap that these companies are doing, that goes away. And why does it go away? It's supply and demand. If I'm looking for a job, if I go to Lowe's or Costco or Walmart or wherever, well, we'll give you 29 hours a week. Well, okay, but I can go over here and get a 40-hour-a-week job and with benefits. Well, okay, go do that. Well, eventually nobody's walking into Walmart and say, I need a 29-hour-a-week job.
right.
I can get it over here. This takes care of itself.
But this is at this point it's sort of like a wishful thinking because you can't whether it's Bush, Obama, or whoever.
That's not the point.
I'm sure.
This is not an Obama problem.
I know that, but what I'm saying is any administration will be interested in getting the economy going for that purpose.
Not true.
It's okay.
It's not true, Amnon.
Why?
Because they don't understand it.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I can.
Politicians think that whenever government needs more, and this is bipartisan, the government thinks that whenever the government needs more money, you just raise taxes. There is the law of unintended consequences that is as powerful as the law of gravity. It doesn't matter if you believe in it, it's still in effect. The law of unintended consequences says unequivocally anything that you tax, you suppress. If you tax wages, people work less. It's not worth the trouble. If you tax cigarettes, people smoke less. If you tax alcohol, people drink less. Some would argue that the alcohol, for example, is not a good comparison because, like, Andrew's going to drink if they quadruple the tax. I mean,
well, look at cigarettes. Do you know how much a pack of cigarettes is in New York State?
What is it, $11?
It's almost $14.
Yeah. And how much of that is tax?
A lot.
Like, I would say probably 80-90%.
Yeah.
Let's see, pack of New York State. What is it right now?
Smoking is declining.
Katie last night was telling me that I think she said Australia is about to raise the tax of cigarettes. It's going to be $1 a cigarette. That is amazing.
It's practically so. A pack of cigarettes in New York is $14.50.
Heck, I can buy them here and drive up there and pay for my trip.
Yeah,
A lot of people go to the Indian reservation. There's a lot of them throughout New York, and also in New Hampshire and Connecticut, and they just buy them there. They're dirt cheap.
How much are they in North Carolina?
Let's see.
It used to be 25 cents a pack.
I can remember when they were 20 cents a pack.
North Carolina, they're $6.03 according to this website.
$3.75 for Marlboro Special Blend. 3-pack for $3.70.
When was this was updated? This is I'm looking at just this from July 12th of updated as of August 2014. Here we go.
This is current as well. This is a place called JR Cigar, which has the lowest prices in North Carolina. They're on all the interstates.
Okay, so this is the 24. So they're $12.85 in New York as of right now.
All right, so what brand do you smoke, Andrew? Let's see how much they cost down here. I might be getting ready to pay for myself a trip up here smuggling cigarettes. I'm kidding, Obama. I'm kidding.
Andrew doesn't smoke cigarettes.
Oh, really?
Does he?
Uh-huh. When he's drinking.
No, he
So,
doesn't
yes.
drink.
What did you say, Hamdan?
So, Andrew, Marlboro's... How long do they last if you buy them? How long before they get stale? Because you can only buy 5 cartons. So Rudy says that Marlboros are, I don't translate, €7 here. 7, that's about $10, I guess. I don't think €1 and $7.
Did that just kick everybody out?
I did some. It went down. It looked like, but I didn't do anything. The next thing I know, Mike was back.
Well, mine went down too. Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Oh, 5.5 euros, so $7. You mean to tell me
Well,
that cigarettes are cheaper in Belgium than they are in New York? I mean, that's half price, if I'm reading that correctly.
where €550 is not $550.
No, he said $7, which is about €5.50.
Oh,
And
remember, it's all taxes, so maybe they don't tax it that much there.
I understand, but Belgium has free health care.
Yeah.
Well, that money has to come from somewhere.
They figure if they smoke, they'll die earlier, so they don't have to pay for health care.
You laugh if you want to, but I have a doctor friend who says it's the absolute truth. He said there are 2 things that the medical community, and he would never say this publicly, and since I haven't told you who he is, I'm going to repeat what he said. There are two things that doctors really, I don't want to say like, they don't wish it on anyone, but there are 2 vices in society that they recognize as making positive contributions to the population as a whole. One is that people who smoke die early, and they usually die fast. They don't burn up all of the money in health care, because whenever they get lung cancer, they're usually gone in 2 months. And the other is people who ride motorcycles, because they usually die from head injuries, which makes them extraordinarily good organ donors. Now, you think that's cold and calloused if you want to, but that's what a doctor says.
Sounds about right. Makes sense.
So Marlboro Red 100s, 200 count, at Sam's Club in New Hampshire is $57.35. That would be... that 200 count would be 20 cigarettes, would be what, 10 packs? So that's $5.75, $5.73 a pack, if I'm reading that correctly, Tim.
Yeah. That's what the math is.
If that's what the 200 count means. This is bizarre to count cigarettes individually, but they can count them any way they want to. But Dr. John was saying that people make money smuggling from North Carolina to New York.
Oh, yeah.
And that used to be big business, but I guess because of the way North Carolina has increased its taxes, I was wondering whether it is still the business that it used to be.
Besides, if you get caught,
well, what happens if you do get caught?
you
Take 'em
get
away.
you get it bad. I think from both states.
Well, if they got the tax stamp on it, what difference does it make?
There's probably an allowance you can carry. I don't know if it's
Yeah, there is. You can take. I don't remember. You can take a few cartons with you, not for sale, but to take it to a friend. I mean, it's meaningless. But,
Wait, hold on. How can they prove that you're not just going to be smoking them?
quantity.
Because if you take 100 cartons with you,
Okay, what if you're staying up there for a few months?
You can prove it.
I have no. Then if you're gonna stay there for a few months, then you need to buy it over there. They would say you're polluting. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's the thing is that people used to fill up their trunk with cartons and go up north and sell it and make a lot of money. But I heard stories about people getting caught and ending up in jail and high fines and all that. And I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to go back
So
to...
at least you find out what the limit is, and if you're going to visit with someone in New York, at least be a good neighbor and take them the legal limit.
Right. You can do that. Absolutely.
You have 5 people in a car. Do you get 5 legal limits?
Probably. As long as each person is willing to testify that the cigarettes belong to them. You know, if I were a cop and I stopped someone and I don't know, let's say the limit's two cartons, and there were 5 people and they had 10 cartons, I'd say, well, I'm not convinced of that. How about each one of you? Let me see you take a puff of a cigarette and inhale it.
I'd be dead. I can't
I would
inhale.
too. I'd rather say, nope, just take me to jail.
I smoked a pipe for 15 years, and I smoked like a stack, but I never inhaled.
Okay, Bill.
I mean,
Okay, Bill.
He doesn't get it.
Pete,
yes, sir.
I said, okay, Bill.
He's talking about Bill Clinton. I didn't inhale.
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you don't
smoked-
inhale pipe and cigar, from what I
I
understand.
don't remember you smoking,
I-
Pete.
Oh, yeah, I smoked for 15 years. From the time I was probably 18 or 19 till I was 30 years old. And that's when I went on that health kick, and I know you remember that.
I remember you going on a health kick, but I don't remember you smoking. I don't remember you holding a cigarette in your hand.
Oh, I didn't smoke cigarettes. I can't stand cigarettes. But I
Pipe.
smoked a pipe. Yeah, I smoked a pipe.
Yeah.
And before, a few years before I left Raleigh, I picked the pipe back up and started smoking. And you know, I haven't been able to smoke a cigar in the last year. I smoked cigars down here. But I ain't been able, I hadn't picked up. It's just not on the top of the list of things to do.
Yeah.
It's like that half a bottle of Devil's Cut I got set up on top of the shelf up there. It's just not one of them things on the top of my list to do.
Well, Obanda was asking a question in chat, and I don't mean to ignore it. He said he wants to know what my thoughts are on the new PreSonus rack-mounted mixers that we're releasing.
There we go.
And I would respond by saying that I have a PreSonus mixer. Knock on wood, I've had very good results out of mine, been very impressed with it. Vance Willis had 2 of them that constantly blew up power supplies. He threw it out and bought Behringer.
And I've got one thing to add to this, too. From what I understand, and I've never put my hands on one, it's a PreSonus and is not for the faint of heart. I mean, you take one of those Behringers and you can operate it, but with the PreSonus, you have to program it to do what you want to do.
No,
You don't?
not really. It depends on if you're going to use special effects and things like that, you have to learn how to do that. But that would be true of the Behringer X32 digital board as well.
That's a
Anon.
different-
So you
right.
can't compare
That- again.
the PreSonus with the Behringer analog board.
Any digital mixer, you have to tell it what to do.
Right,
because you
they would
choose-
use the same buttons. I mean, on an analog mixer, a volume control is a volume control. On a
Right.
digital mixer, a pot may be
Right.
in one place a balance control. You hit another button, and it's a volume control. You hit another button, and it is a rotary selector.
Right,
So
that's
for
what I
digital
meant.
consoles. But
Yeah.
but you know what? It's kind of like riding a bicycle. You have to spend the time to learn how to do it and not give up. And once you get it, you got it.
Well, so since we're turning to tech again,
Well,
The federal. What were you going to say something, Mac?
no, go ahead. We may be talking the same story here. Go ahead.
The Federal Trade Commission announced that Google has agreed to refund a minimum of 19 million. Is that what you were going to talk about?
Nope.
Okay. To consumers who were charged for purchases made by their children without authorization. Google has also agreed to change its Play Store billing practices so as to better obtain express consent for in-app purchases. The commission alleges that many consumers reported hundreds of dollars of unauthorized charges due to current billing practices. Many free apps contain in-app purchases where kids often think they're just spending virtual money. So even if there isn't an upfront cost, you could end up paying in the long run. I don't understand one thing here. I mean, again, it's if you're a parent and you have a kid that doesn't understand the difference between I'm paying real money or I'm paying virtual money or I'm paying or I'm not paying, you don't give them your credit card to go and do stuff.
It's not. They don't buy through the credit card, Amnon.
They do. They buy it through
gets
their
charged
account,
to your Apple account, which is linked to your credit card.
Right.
In
Well,
most
you
cases.
don't let them do that. You teach them.
It's not. See, this is the problem, and I actually experienced this the other day.
Okay.
I downloaded a game on my phone, and the icon for money
Yeah.
is like a cartoon dollar, like a cartoon dollar bill. So you would think, all right, I have in-game money. I'm probably the only one that's ever experienced this on the show. But
Well, you know something, Nick.
What?
That would also indicate that an adult will not understand this.
that's the problem. Is they don't indicate that it's a real dollar. Here, let me see if I can get this. Hold on, let me load this game up. Let me see if there's
Interesting.
a thing where I can buy. Hold on. 10, 13.
Mike, are you answering Joe Taylor?
No, I got a little something going on here. I'll be there back in a second. New tab page. We got to figure this out.
All right. Well, this app is not. And this must not be the one I was thinking of. But there's other apps where they show some virtual currency.
Okay.
And then they say, and then they show a rendering of an animated dollar bill or an animated $100 bill, whatever the amount is, and that's very misleading. Especially you ask a kid, they're gonna say, no, how is that real? Look at the picture. It's an animated bill. I don't believe it's the fault of the parents at all.
Okay. No, I mean if it's, I mean I don't know that I ever bought anything from the Google Play Store, but
I've bought.
Go ahead.
I've bought several things from the Google Play Store, several apps. I don't know, half a dozen maybe, and it always stopped and asked me for information.
Now that's when you buy. So the app, when buying the app, is different than purchasing things from within the app. That is a very different thing.
Well, I've had some upgrades for some apps they were free apps to play with, and then you want to upgrade to the Pro model. It always stopped and asked me, do you really want to do this? But you have to accept it, and you have to put your password in to do this.
Yeah. Now see these in-game things. They do it from within the game. It's not like it's another app in the store. It's just an add-on for the current game.
All right, Nick, let me ask you this. Is
Yes.
there, since I don't have any experience with that, can you configure your account to actually require a credit card number and the CVV and all that on the fly when you
It does
try
it, but
to
you
purchase?
You don't pay through the credit card though.
Well, no, but I mean somehow the money is coming out of your credit card.
Well, no. What it's very similar to Amazon. Amazon. If you have Amazon credit,
Right.
you have $25 Amazon credit. You're buying a $50 product.
Right.
You add it to your cart. You click buy. It uses
Right.
$25 from your Amazon credit, and it pulls the other $25 from your credit card.
That's
It's the
my
exact same
question.
thing.
I know with Amazon you have to have a credit card online.
Same thing with Google. You have to have a
Okay,
credit card.
that's my question. If you could, so you have to have.
I believe
Okay.
so. Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's
okay.
the way it works for all the apps that I've bought.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Part of the process.
Nick,
What's up?
let's go a little technical here. Remember we were talking this week about streaming bit rates?
Okay.
I'm now streaming only to Bamboozer on this machine here.
Okay.
And
how's
I've got
that
it
go?
configured at 600.
And
And it hasn't gone below 800. It stays 11, 12, 14, 11, 10, 13, 14.
I think that may be a Bamboozer problem. I would think.
Which, well, I don't know that it's Bamboozer. I think it's Wirecast that's just saying, no, I want to have that
No.
much.
No, every Thursday night I do my show, and my bit rate is not 3 times.
Bamboozer
as
does
that
not
when I'm
want
streaming.
me to do anything over 600, 700.
Well,
And
then
I don't
maybe-
know how to stop it other than make it constant. What do you call it?
You can make it CBR.
I may have to do that because I mean I'm serious. It's more at the 1400.
Well, then I'd make it CBR.
It's just amazing, and maybe that's why I was telling you. Remember, I was telling you that I can configure it for 6, 7, 8, 9, and it didn't make any difference. That's probably why.
Yep. Oh, you got to set it to CBR.
Oh,
Interest. Are you okay? Pete, are you okay?
yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
All
I
right.
was just moving.
Okay.
I was moving things around, so to speak.
And
My rear
again,
end takes root to this chair.
hello, Andrew.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are
So
you?
great. So who knows about iCloud and the problem that they had this week?
They didn't have a problem.
They didn't have a problem.
There was no problem. Where did you get that from, Am? Not Slashdot?
iCloud was hacked. Come on, it was all over the news, right?
It was
Hey,
not hacked.
but Nick,
False.
did you hear that?
Yes, it's 100% false. They did not get hacked.
iCloud did not get hacked. Hackers targeted certain people, and they were able to get into their information using
Brute
a
force.
number of things like brute force or even just guessing what the password is.
Okay, well that's hacked.
No, it's
I'm
not.
going to give you an example, okay? I'm going to give you a perfect example. And I spoke. It's funny that this happened because I spoke about this 2 weeks before it happened.
Yeah.
On how easy it is to get someone's password. One of my friends, I just did it as an example on the air, and I was able to get in. So you go into iCloud. If you don't set two-step authentication up, you could easily change someone's password and gain access to their entire account. All you got to do, don't even attempt to put in the person's password. Just go to I forgot my password.
Yeah.
If you know the person's email address, it'll ask you a series of questions like, what was your first cat's name? What was the street that you grew up on? What's your first school? You put in 2 or 3 of those correctly, it'll prompt you to a new password. It'll say, put in your new password. You put in the new password, you sync it to a new device, and there you go. You just gained access to their entire account. That's not hacking. That's me.
Well,
That's not-
That's me.
Social engineering.
Yeah, social engineering. I was able to game the system and get in.
Just
Now
like with
Google,
Amazon.
you can, and I tried it with Google. Google has to text you if you set it up. Like my Google
Yeah.
setup where it has to. I get a text to my phone with a new password prompt.
Which
So
which
I
they do for everybody, I believe. Now that's part of their.
Okay. So Google's very good with that. Most people have two-step authentication set up on their phones.
Yeah.
If you know anything about computers, you do two-step authentication, you set it up that way. These people, it wasn't an iCloud hack. People are blaming Apple for this. This is definitely not Apple's fault. This is just people targeting people.
Well, to a certain extent, Apple should have it. And similarly, this happened with Amazon a few months back, if you remember. I mean, Apple should have a more robust forget password thing, especially if they know there's important stuff on iCloud.
But it definitely wasn't like they found the glitch and they were able to exploit the glitch. They got in due to social engineering.
All right, we'll call it social engineering. I mean, if they let you change it right online when you guess a couple of those answers, then shame on them.
Let's see. Let me try it now.
Because what they should do is that's why they have your email address. That's why you have email addresses associated with your domain name.
Yeah, but if I know so I know your email address.
But the fact that you know my email address is meaningless, because if I'm going to send you any information to change something, you should email it. If I was Apple, I would email it to the email on record.
Yeah, but you get an email.
But if you... No, but if you... Look, if my email is amnon@deltaforce.net and you're trying to go into iCloud, you know that that's my email address. Great.
Yeah.
You go in there and you answer questions. Instead of giving you a prompt right there on the website to do what you want to do, they should send an email to me or to the email on record and say, okay, here is what you do. This way you will never get that.
You have your account up to do that. So right now I'm doing mine, right? I forgot my password. I put in my email, and it says authentication method, email or enter security password.
Right.
So I'm going to enter security password. It says verify your date of birth.
Right.
So here, I'll verify my date of birth. I'm going to go through it now. Maybe they changed it in the last 3 weeks. It says it's giving me two questions.
Okay.
I'm putting them in.
Okay. Go ahead and do it.
Okay. I put 2 questions in. It says create a new password. Enter the new password for that email address below. Your password will have to be at least 8 characters, blah, blah, blah. So I just got it. I just I automatically changed my password.
Yeah.
And you know how you do this? Well,
that's simple. Absolutely.
Well, the person's going to find out that you changed the password and they're going to react really quickly. Well, no. What if I did it at 3 in the morning?
Right. Let me tell you how I solved that problem with people that register domains through Delta Force. There is the same thing. Is put in, answer the question. But what I tell people when they register, or if I know that they didn't do it, I'll go afterwards and I'll just enter junk in the end. In what high school did you go? Just random junk. Because if any of these customers want to change or do something, they can always call me. And
that works for your scenario, though, not for everybody.
Well, I understand. I understand, but I'm thinking, if you want to change the password, go ahead, answer all that. You have the entity on the other side has your email address on file. You don't have it. You answer the questions, and then they say, okay, an email was sent to your email address. Go ahead and follow it, instead of prompting you to do it right there online. And I'm sure, Andrew, if you figured it and other people figured it out, they need to come up with a new strategy how to allow people to do that.
So right now I'm doing one of my female friends. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite pet's name?
Right. Spencer.
No, here we go. Her cat's name, Bobo.
Yeah.
There you go. 1 question. Create a new password. Done.
Yeah.
All I needed to know was her email address, her cat's name, and her date of birth.
Yeah.
That's all I needed. And
you can find that easy.
I could get in. I would do it at 3 in the morning. She would have no clue that it was changed.
Right.
And by that time, you grabbed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try someone else. I'm going to try another person here.
It's
I got 2 accounts. I'm going to try another one. This person I don't even know. It's just a random person that I know. I don't know anything about them.
okay.
Answer security questions. Okay, so I don't know the girl's date of birth. I'm going to go to Facebook now to try to find it. I know she's born in 1984. This is interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
this is,
and you find out when somebody is congratulating her on her birthday.
Okay, I just met this person.
Yeah.
So I found her on Facebook, this girl Lauren. Let's go about. Find her date of birth. I know she's born 1984. Here we go, March 22nd, 1984. Let's go back to Apple. Let's go to March. Go to date. 1984. Let's go next. What was the name of your first pet? What was your childhood nickname? These are 2 things, if I spent 2-3 hours, I could find out.
Yeah.
You go to their Facebook, and you just go through their photos, and I'm sure someone's going to call them by the nickname, and someone's going to find out their first pet. There's probably a photo of the first pet.
See, and my idea is that if you came up with all this, at the end of that, you should be presented with a message that says, an email with instructions how to change your password was emailed to the email address on file.
Well, that's how 92% of the services do it.
Well, why not iCloud?
Well, because Apple's special.
Yeah.
You know what's
They're
interesting?
so special.
Why isn't iCloud just saying, forget about the security questions, here's a text through the phone associated to this iCloud account, here your email address, you pick which one you want. Go to email, go to your phone. Why can't I mean, this is silly.
Agreed.
This is really silly. The only true way to protect an account is to associate it to a phone number, because you know that these people, it's going to be very difficult for them to have access to the phone number. 99% of people hacking, and I'm using air quotes on that, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, essentially, every iCloud account that I've attempted right now, I've been able to get in. I just need to, I can find out what her first pet was, and I can find out what her childhood nickname was.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you could just throw in a bunch of random names and find something.
I can tell you right now, she's little, she's short, so it's probably going to be something to do with that. She's skinny, she's probably going to have something to do with that. And I know she had a cat.
Jake or Bob or some other.
Well, I'm just going to go on her. I'm going to go.
You
on her
can
Facebook
find,
account.
you can find this information. You can find it out. You can find out on the net.
And these are things that people will never know. They will have no clue who did this. The only thing is, does Apple track? If I go, I have some device, an iOS device, any iOS device. How easy is it for Apple to track who that's associated to that got into the account if I report that my account was hacked? Are they going to spend the time to look into where that came from?
Probably not.
Well, if any of these celebs are going to sue Apple, then Apple will take the time to find out who did it.
Well, wait. With Apple, it's different. With celebrities, it's different because remember they have a lot of money.
Right.
A lot of influence, and now the FBI is involved. So, yes, they're going to look into that. They're going to look at where that came from. But if I'm Nick and I hacked Sally Sitwell's account in high school, is the police going to investigate who got into that iCloud? I guarantee you nobody's going to care about who got into it. They're going to say, change your password.
Yeah, and besides, if you come from a proxy, through a proxy, good luck.
I mean, I have almost every one of my friends' email accounts, and I guarantee you they are not smart enough to use a dummy email to associate to these accounts.
Yeah.
What I suggest doing is using an email address that is not public. in that way, it's very difficult for them to guess what that email address is associated to. Most people do like andrew.zarian@gmail.com.
Yeah, I have that registered.
Yeah, but if they are sending an email to you, then only you will get it. They cannot get that email.
Yeah, but like for example, like I'm able to guess people's passwords. I'm able to reset people's passwords based on having their email address.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
And this is an article from the Next Web, and it's about security, and it says there is nothing, hardware or software, that is unhackable. Let's get it out of the way right off the bat. If a hacker, a real hacker, not someone with a set of easily available hacking tools, really wants your information, they will get it. The same can be said for the NSA or any other state-sponsored organization. So if somebody really wants to get in there, they can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And most of the time it doesn't involve any kind of hacking.
Right. Obviously.
If I sat here all day, I could probably give a list of 10 people that I could get into their account without putting majority of effort or any kind of hacking. It's just guessing. I mean, I just did Jessica's cousin. I just got into her account. I know her birthday, I know her dog, I know her cat.
Yeah.
I mean, this is scary. This is the scary part. The scary part is not that hackers are going to. People worry that, hackers are targeting them. There's this weird misconception that, I don't want my computer getting hacked. I don't want to open that. I'm going to get hacked. Well, no. Most of the time, people getting into your account know you. It's not a random attack. Hackers are not sitting there and saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to get Amnon's information." It's most of the time it's someone that you know.
Yeah.
A lot of these big, I'm telling you, most of these big cyber, like you see, like Home Depot had a hack.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. That's millions of accounts. That's corporate espionage. That's a lot of this stuff is happening. When most people get I don't know anybody that's personally gotten hacked. And if they have, I guarantee you it's someone that they know. It's a relative. It's an ex-girlfriend. It's an ex-boyfriend.
And I mean, to go on with this thing, it says the internet never forgets.
No.
And if you ever put in there that, I remember my first pet, Jack, that's there forever. And somebody will find it out. If that's
Dr. John says we need to start using hardware tokens. I have a hardware token for my bank account.
I have a hardware token.
For my business account, I need to put in that special PIN every time I go to access my account.
Now, here is something that they have different ways how to protect your account. And here's one thing. It says, a strong password is a good first step to securing your data.
But again, I didn't need any password.
I understand. I understand. But I mean, you also have to think about this is just one thing. Yeah. But you need to do more than just a combination of letters and symbols. To reduce the chances of having your password guessed or brute forced, use a password manager and use a randomly generated alphanumeric password that's at least 20 characters long. I've never done this. LastPass, Dashlane, RoboForm, MSecured, and 1Password are cross-platform services that work via the mobile web in addition to native apps. Not only will it generate random passwords, it will warn you when you're using the same password on multiple sites, a huge security error that many of us are guilty of committing. If you would rather manage your own passwords, make sure they're all different. When you use the same password everywhere, when one site or service is compromised, suddenly the hackers have access to your entire digital life. Now, that is very interesting, and I will lie if I say that I know how it works. Random password on the fly. You register somewhere and you put a password, but you can have something in between that will randomize the password and give it to you to use at a certain point when you're trying to go there, that is very interesting. I'm going to look into it. This is what we were talking about, Mike, the other day when I asked you if you ever heard about, what was it? Masked credit cards? Credit card numbers?
Cards, sure.
Yeah, they give you can get a one-time credit card number to use on a site that is actually linked to your real credit card. So you use 1234, 1234, 1234, 1234, and it's actually linked to your real credit card so you can make a purchase. That is a one-time use. The next time you go somewhere else to purchase something on the same card, you will have a different card number. That is very interesting because at this point, I don't care if you get my data. That was a one-time thing. So it's becoming so that doing stuff online is even more secure than doing it in person, because when you're in person, you swipe it. And at that point, they get your real card number.
And if they've got the right equipment, they also capture your PIN number and reuse it.
Yeah, that's true.
That PIN number thing is easily.
I never understood why they don't go beyond 4 digits.
No. It has nothing to do with the amount of digits. It's got to do with the thing. Mike, I'm not sure if you're referencing the heat signature thing.
No.
Well, I saw a YouTube video on it. There's an iPhone case. Looks like one of the OtterBoxes, and it's got the OtterBoxes have the little hole for the camera, and what this has is it has a whatever it does so that it can detect heat. So I'm standing behind Mike Phillips in line at the grocery store. He swipes his card, puts in his PIN number. I'm up next, and I casually point my phone at it, take the picture, and based on the 4 numbers that he pressed, process of elimination, I can find out his PIN. And you can tell by which one was pressed first and which one was pressed last, looking at how much whatever heat signature is left on each button.
So here's a little update. The person that I was looking before that I was doing it to, and I was looking for their childhood nickname and the cat, I got the cat's name.
So you're in.
Yeah.
I'm halfway there. All I've done is scroll through her photos on Facebook.
Yeah.
So but the problem is this is going to be a lot harder in the future.
Well, hopefully, I'm hoping.
It's harder for me right now because when I put in my birthday, I never put in my actual birthday.
Well, that's smart.
But I mean, Andrew, I think your friends were probably the last generation that used email.
Well, I think everybody's using email. If you're in your late 20s, you better be have an email address associated to something.
I'm not saying have it. I'm not saying they don't have email addresses, but use email. Like I think you're probably the last generation that really used email.
So so I'm going to give you an example. If you're at work or you need to correspond with someone, how are you going to correspond with them?
Text message or Twitter or Facebook.
Nobody at most companies.
Then you text them.
I don't know any company that's using Facebook or text messaging to communicate.
Me either.
What, a corporation?
Yeah.
Well,
you just said if you're at it, you just said you're at a corporation. How would you talk to somebody?
A corporation, I don't think a corporation will never allow employees to use that instead of email because they want to keep records.
Email.
Okay, we're talking about 2 different things here, guys.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you
something.
You're talking about using email at work. I'm not talking about that at all.
Well, you're saying corporate.
Okay. So Amnon, if I go work for Walmart and I've got nick.craig@walmart.com, I'm not going to sign up to iCloud with my walmart.com email address.
People do it.
Yeah, but Nick, remember this: with iMessage, if you iMessage me, I could see your email address.
You can see my iMessage email address.
Well, my iMessage email address is my email address. It's whatever is associated to iMessage, and most of the time, that's whatever is associated to your. So if I'm on my laptop right now and I'm using iMessage, It gives me the options. So it'll say for the person, it'll give their phone number for iMessage, and it'll give their email address for iMessage, because that's what they associated to iMessage.
Well, I'm just telling you that people are not using email anymore. So that when I think in the future, when you're signing up for services, you're not going to be asked for an email address. You're going to be asked for a phone number. Nobody is using. People my age are not using email. Nobody. I could not tell you 10 of my friends' email addresses.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you use Google Chat?
No, none of my friends use Google Chat either. Everything is text message, Twitter, or Facebook. Nobody's using.
I don't know any, and that's funny. Maybe that's a generational thing. I don't know anybody that's using Twitter to communicate with each other.
That's however. I could not even give you the slightest clue what email providers some of my friends are using.
So you have your text messaging, right? You have a Google phone.
Yeah.
You're using Hangouts.
Well, most people don't have the phone configured to use Hangouts, and most people have iPhones.
Nick, when you go into almost everybody that I know in the workforce uses email, and they use their personal email for personal email.
In the workforce, but you know people in the workforce your age.
Well, they did not use email until they got to the workforce.
I'm just people are not using email.
Not using email, Nick. That's what it is. People your age are not using email.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying this social engineering thing is slowly going to be fading off because people are not using email like they used to. I could not even guess one of my friends' email addresses. I would have no clue what provider or what kind of syntax they used for the thing.
All right, Nick, let me ask you this. You are Craig Digital Designs.
I'm not the norm, Amnon.
You have to. No. Sorry. I mean, we're talking about you now. You go in there, I go in there, and I want to get your services. If you're not going to email me, you lost my.
Amnon, I'm not the norm. Most of my friends are not running a small web design.
Most of your friends are just playing around.
No, not at all. Most of your friends
are just playing around. What are they texting each other about? What are they tweeting each other about?
Not web design services that they're offering.
I know.
Amnon, I'm not the norm.
What are they?
Amnon, let's look at it like this, okay? So, Nick, you're absolutely right. People are not using email.
They're not communicating through email.
They don't communicate through email, sure. But
I'm not saying they don't have email. They're just not using it.
Yeah, you're right. They have email, but they're not using it. A lot of people I know have email, they're not using it. These people that I was able to get their email address, you know how I got their email address? Through Facebook. They have it associated on Facebook. When you go into the About section, you can find their email address. So most people put an email address. They fill it out.
Yeah.
Some people don't, and obviously I'm not saying this is going to be the case for everybody. You're not going to be able to get everybody's access, but if you really wanted to, you really could. What if you went to a friend like, hey, listen, what's your email address? I'm putting it into my phone. They're not going to say, well, you want my email address? What's wrong with you?
Exactly, but that's why I think that these services are, instead of, you want to go sign up for a Netflix account, it's not going to say, what is your email and password? It's going to say, what is your phone number and password? That is going to change. People are not using email like they were 10 years ago.
Is that how it is right now?
No, it's not. But
okay.
I know it's going to change because less and less people are use email, and I guarantee you, I have friends that do not have an email address.
I can tell
you.
Well, then how do they have a phone?
What do you mean?
They have a phone, right?
Yeah.
They have an iPhone or they have an Android phone.
Yeah, but that just because they have an iCloud account doesn't mean it's theirs. I've got an iCloud account. It's not linked. My iCloud account is my father's because he set up the Apple account.
Yeah, but you don't use iMessage.
But if I did, it would still be. You would see his address, not mine.
Well, then your father would have access to your text messages. Do you want that?
He would. We're all on the same iCloud account. Yeah, technically he would. Yes.
Yeah, but you don't use your iCloud account constantly. If you did, you probably would set up a different email for the iMessage and iPhone. Yeah,
definitely, I definitely would. But do you think my 17-year-old friends know that? Probably not.
I guarantee you, most of your 17-year-old friends that are using iMessage and that are using iCloud for photos have their own email associated to it.
They might. There's a very good chance they might, but people don't understand that.
I think. Listen, I think it comes down to it's not if you really wanted to get someone's email, you will get their email because most people have an email account. They register for something and they have an email and they've signed up. The point is, it's silly to be able to totally bypass the password guessing system and just go into the security questions.
Yeah.
That's why it's silly.
Yeah, I honestly think that
what Google does, you need a phone number to verify the account.
Yeah, and I think in the future it's not going to ask you for an email address. It's going to ask you for a phone number now.
Yeah.
Well, this discussion actually brings up an interesting question for me because Google has decided to take over the entire internet and the technical world with Nick's position that the importance of email is declining among his generation and younger. Doesn't this transition away from email sort of diminish Google's hold on the world in that Google is not Facebook, Google is not text message? I mean, where does this leave Google?
That's a serious thing. They're not going to be if less and less people are sending emails through Gmail, and they're doing it through iMessage. You're right. Google is losing out on that now.
We're just going to have to wait and see.
That means that they're going to come up with something very soon to try to retain that traffic.
Very possible. Very possible.
Anybody got a Google phone number?
I've got a bunch of them.
So do I.
But I don't use them.
Exactly. Oh, I do.
There have been too many rumors of Google Voice disappearing. And those rumors start out, I believe they're floated as trial balloons because people say, oh, that's silly. People are so dependent upon them. But then at some point, there's a possibility that Google starts charging for them. Once they start charging for them, you have to determine whether it's worth the price. Then you see the service sort of collapse because of all the free people who give theirs up. I would probably keep one of my numbers, but I would have no need to keep them all.
That's why I've been so hesitant to move to Google or Google Voice. It's just I can't. I'm not going to spend $15 to move my phone number over, and then have to spend $100 a year to save my phone number on Google Voice. It's just not worth it.
But have they done it yet?
They haven't done it yet, but it's Google's trend to do it. And I'm not paying Google $100 a year for a phone number.
Oh, I'm not either. But I'm worried about today, or I'm thinking about today. I don't worry about anything anymore. I don't worry about what happened yesterday.
I think that's
and
valid,
I'm worry about tomorrow.
But if you've got to spend $20 to move your phone number over, I'm sure thinking about that. If it was a free move over, I'd probably think about it less. But I'll be damned if I've got to spend $10 or $20 for AT&T to release my phone number to Google, and then I've got to pay them $100 a year to save the phone number.
Lord, I haven't used AT&T in 15 years.
Nick,
whoever your cell phone provider is, you have to pay them to release the number.
Nick, give me a scenario. We don't have any more email. Everything is by phone numbers.
But I didn't say that.
Wait, hold it. You lost your phone, or somebody stepped on it and broke it. Are you completely out of touch with the rest of the world? You're not going to be able to hear from anybody anymore? I'm not
sure.
I'm asking. Oh, you're not sure?
No, that's not the scenario I gave you. That's not the question I posed. I didn't say people are never going to use email again. All I said that people are not going to be using emails, and I don't think services are going to be using email to sign up for it. I didn't say that email is disappearing.
Okay, so
I just said I don't think services are going to ask you for an email and an address.
What it sounds like you're saying to me, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it sounds like what you're saying to me is that at a social level, the importance of email is declining rapidly.
At a social level and to the level of these companies, who sends out email blasts? Like Amazon, right? Here we go. Amazon constantly sends out, hey, you bought this, you might want this. If less and less people are checking their email, why wouldn't they move to text message and start sending text message blasts out?
Well, glad you said that. Now let me ask you a question. If Amazon starts sending you text messages, what are you going to do?
if I can't, if they no longer accept an email to sign up for their service, I'm gonna have to deal with it.
They send me a text message. I've changed my phone number.
Well, not if you sign up for the service with an
I
email.
ain't signing up for a service with text messaging.
That's the older school mentality. But I have a feeling it's changing. If Amazon is gonna send out how many emails do you think they send out a day?
Who knows?
Millions.
Let's just say 1 million. What they send 1 million emails out a day. How many of those people are checking their email on a daily basis? I can tell you, none of my friends are. I am, because I've got 400 email addresses. But if my friend.
Mm-mm.
The lips are moving, but no sound.
Yeah,
It dropped.
Oh well.
We're
stuff
back.
happens.
And we're back.
Amnon, you have to unmute.
So we can hear him on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, it dropped out again. Which I want to take it in a different direction a little bit. That was perfect. I went.
Okay.
I went yesterday, and what is it? Chrome 32 is now the current one, correct?
31.
Well, 32 came out.
Okay.
When
I
I'm
don't
checking,
use Chrome, so
when I'm checking here right now on this machine and on the Wirecast machine, on this machine here, I had 38 Beta M. And that's probably the beta that I got when we were looking for that red dot for WebRTC.
Ooh.
I cannot, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that beta is what's causing this problem here with it dropping. Why couldn't I downgrade it to the current release version? So I went ahead and I downloaded the new one and installed it. And I'm looking, and all it lost, it still says 38, but it says 38M. It lost the beta out of it. Mike, what does yours, are you using Chrome?
Yeah, it depends on which computer you're talking about.
Well, whichever, it doesn't matter. Whichever you're using. I mean, just do the tools and about. Because
I don't remember which one I use Chromium.
well, no, we're using Chrome.
Well, it's the same thing, just about.
Not really. It's two different products.
That's why I use Chromium.
And there's absolutely no way. Okay, Donovan.
What am I using?
See, Donovan says it says 37. See, it's I don't understand this.
About Chromium.
I'm using version 38 Beta M.
Yeah, that's what I was using yesterday. Now it's 38M.
Mine's 35 in Chromium. Of course,
So
Chromium's
Donovan,
open source.
do you have any ideas? It's
Well, there's Bruce Turner.
so see 37M. What happens to the current release, which is 32 or 31 or whatever? I mean, why is it up there? It's on my computer, which I don't use for any Hangouts or anything like this. It is 32 I believe, because I saw it saying, okay, 32 is available, and it, when the minute you go to about, it starts updating. But on these machines here that we went and downloaded the beta, it's way off. And I'm wondering if they put 38 and 37 for the purpose of that when you go in, it doesn't update. Of course, say, oh, that's 32. He's already 38. We're not going to do anything. Now, what Donovan is saying is very interesting because he said his wants to update, even though he had 36, it updated it. Something here is funny. I was beginning to think, and I was thinking, well, maybe there's a difference between the 64-bit and the 32-bit. They have a different version number, possible. But when they're saying, if you go to the website and you see which version, you'll see. So it's obviously by me getting the current one from the Google site and installing it did not fix the problem of the video dropping. On we go.
Well, what I would do if I were you, Amnon, just to get things cleared up, I would very probably go get what is this Revo uninstaller?
Yeah.
I would uninstall Chrome with Revo uninstaller and get it every little nuance of it out of my system, then go and reinstall it fresh without any of this beta stuff that may be in your system.
You'll have to clean the registry out too.
Also, if you've got time, I'd do a reformat.
Well, there's something to be said for that too.
When was the last time you reformatted that machine?
Uh-oh,
Amnon?
I remember this. FDIS format.
Amnon,
Yes, I'm sorry.
when was the last time you reformatted that machine?
Oh, jeez. Never did.
Well, that's you should reformat.
Yeah, but
it,
I mean the version number. Give me a break.
Yeah, but no, it's not just for Chrome. You've got stuff left from old versions of software.
Oh, no, I'm not arguing that, but I see the machine doesn't have any other problem when it suddenly drops. It's Chrome that's dropping out. And why is Chrome showing 38 or 37 when their current official release is 32?
Because you downloaded the beta.
I know, but I went ahead and oh, you were gone. I downloaded the current one from their site and installed it.
Yeah, but you have to uninstall the beta first.
Why? I'm not updating. I'm installing.
It's two different versions.
Well,
no, you can't install an older version and have it take over the newer version.
It did change something in the version where it went from beta M to just M.
If you go to the control panel, you'll see that you've got like 6 different things of Chrome installed. I have the same thing on my machine. But a reformat is definitely...
No, it's definitely out of the question.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes, because it takes 1,000,000 weeks to reformat a computer.
We can go back to XP.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Solve all the problems.
I can do a complete reinstall in 2.5 hours with all the tricks and glitter.
Same here. Same here.
In fact, less than 2.5 hours.
Good point. Why am I at version 38? Because I'm on the beta cycle?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what mine said. Doesn't it say 38 beta M?
Mine is at 38.0.2125.44 beta-M.
Yeah. I don't remember the rest of the numbers, but I remember it said beta M, and after reinstalling it, it says just M. Be interesting
to know. That
to
could
know.
be a glitch in the graphic.
I don't think that has anything to do with your problem.
Yeah, on the monitoring machine, it says 37.0 M. And it
Well, I
says,
use the beta Chrome all the time, and I've never had it kick me out of the Hangout.
I'm just look. This was one way. I was thinking about it, and I said, well, I can always just forget about the beta and go to the current one, because at this point everything that was in the beta is in the release, and I want to stay released. That did not work.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere else. It's somewhere else. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not a Chrome problem, I don't believe. Because I think other people would have experienced it as well, and I haven't experienced anything like it. I'm not sure.
I guess maybe when you start with the beta, it keeps you as beta. Here's Brent saying the 38.0 blah 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 beta was released 3 days ago, so maybe it's.
I'm in the same beta you're on, and I've never been kicked out of the Hangout for having. I'm on 38 beta-m. I've never get this connection time error thing.
No.
That's why I brought up the point of a reformat.
Yeah, no. I live with that.
You're eventually going to get bit rot.
Well, what are you going to do?
FDIS format.
Oh, I can't say.
In the old days.
Get a Mac.
Bitrot is a real thing. It's a real problem.
The what?
For sure.
A lot of people don't realize that when you let something sit for so long, it's going to start getting.
I'm aware of that.
Like on my production machines, I do a format once a year. I do a format, maybe twice a year.
Well, in this case, you've done it a lot of times this year.
Well, because I messed up and I installed 32-bit instead of 64, but
You're a drinking Forester.
Nick.
Yes.
You might want to take a look. I loaded up Ubuntu Studio. You might want to take a look at that.
All right. What is the difference?
It's a 2.5 gig download, and it loads up more after you do it.
So what is Ubuntu Studio? What is the difference between that and just the regular desktop version of Ubuntu?
Well, the regular Ubuntu has that Unity desktop, which I hate, on the left. This comes up with the XFCE desktop, which you can customize. Plus, it has LMMS on it. It has a bunch of audio stuff on it. It has a bunch of art stuff on it. It has photography stuff on it.
It's built more for a not a higher end PC, but you're not running it on your 15-year-old
I would put it on the 15-year. I got it on my 5-year machine. It runs fine.
Yeah, 5 years it would run fine. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. I'll have to. I'll throw it in a virtual box or something and play around with it.
But I know that the LMMS is a great piece of software, and I don't know. You might want to look it up on YouTube and take a look at it.
Yeah, and this is available just from their website, like the other versions.
You have to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like the others.
All right.
It's the latest one is 14.04, and it's good to 2017.
Okay. Well, I'll have to give it a try and check it out.
We're talking in chat about Hangouts crashing, and Trevor says that Hangouts have been crashing for everyone, beta or not. And Bruce says giving a +1, I'm assuming, to Hangouts instead of to the Power Wash comment. But I asked Bruce whether the Hangouts have been crashing this week, and Trevor says that ask a TNC member about Hangouts crashing. And Bruce says yes, a few times this week. Had problems this morning getting into a TNC Hangout. Well, the reason we're asking the question is we probably do 25 hours a week worth of Hangouts, maybe more.
And it's rare for it to crash.
It's just not crashing on us.
Now, there's a difference between a Hangout. We had a Hangout crash earlier when it kicked all of us out, but Amnon's problem is not a Hangout crash. The Hangout stays open. It's something on his machine is disconnecting. So there's a Hangout crash where it kicks everybody off it boots everybody from the Hangout, reloads them, and that's normally because they're rolling updates to the servers, and they just kick everybody off. The update gets pushed, and then they let everybody back in. But there's the difference between the Hangout crashing and you getting disconnected. So
Yeah, I think the issue that you guys have on the show every week with the Hangouts is something local. I don't think it's Hangouts itself.
Okay, well, I can live with that. I'm not going to argue that. It's very possible. I mean, it says the video dropped. Retry.
Yeah.
Emma, maybe you're having some sort of little hiccup on the network card on that computer, and it's dropping it for a split second, and then it's coming back.
Absolutely possible. Yeah, I know. It can. I was just trying to think about one thing, and I said, okay, I know I'm using a beta. Using a beta is not always a good thing to do. So I said, well, let me go away from the beta and see if that will do it. And that's why that whole thing came about. But yeah, it's very, very possible. I'm not arguing that at all. All right, let's see.
Yes, I want to ask you a quick question here.
Ask me a quick question.
And if you don't want to answer it, don't. And I hate keeping.
Okay, I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Why won't you do a format on that machine?
Why won't I?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I find this interesting
because there are so many programs installed on it that I use every time after a show and all that I'm going to have to take a few hours, sit in front of it, and remember what it is, and probably change the drives and do it from scratch. And there are priorities. Right now, I'm more concerned with getting everything, here, switching to wide format and all. That still takes a lot of time from me. It's priorities. It's what I mean. For the most part, everything is fine. It was working great with Skype.
It wasn't working great with Skype.
Yes, it was.
Skype all the time.
No, one time Skype would drop is when after 4 hours.
Skype used to crash, I would say, at least every 2 weeks. It used to quit out
only when we used it over the time of the limit of the conference. I mean, I'm using Skype with everything else, and it is fine. Oh, let's put it this way. It is fine enough that I don't need to worry about reformatting at this point.
Okay, so
I mean,
what do you have installed on the machine that would what kind of applications do you have that would take so long to reinstall?
It's a bunch of them. I mean, you want me to start going? I've got.
I'm curious because
I'm going to tell you. I've got Auditions. I've got PaintShop. I've got the Adobe Suite. I've got all these converters to convert from different format to different format. I've got the QuickTime Pro. it's a bunch of them.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. That just sounds like a total BS excuse. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's all right. So that's.
If you just said that the issues aren't big enough for you to have to deal with the format, but if they could solve the problem, you still would not be willing to do it?
I don't consider that a problem. I consider it a nuisance. Because now that I know, all I have to do is...
I'm going to explain to you something. There's two ways to look at this. One, there are people that really don't care and they just blow things away and then they start fresh. I think you and I are in that boat.
Yeah.
I don't care about what I have or how much info I have on here. Generally, all my anything I want to keep is backed up, so I have no personal information. I have nothing that's valuable. I just have applications. So for me, to blow it away, it's a lot easier than someone that has, a bunch of applications and it's configured a certain way and it's been like that for a while, and you really don't remember what's what. I mean, I remember when I didn't format that often, it was a lot harder for me to do it because I would always lose something. I always lost something because I just didn't know what was backed up and what was saved and what was in a file. I think the longer, if you don't normally format, if you don't normally blow it away and start from scratch, it's much more difficult to actually do it than someone that like you or me that does it, every year. if you have 5 years of information or 6 years of information on that machine, and you really don't know where everything is.
See, the worst thing you can do though is let it sit and keep building up.
But you know,
because then it's going to get to the point where you're forced to do a format and you are really screwed.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean that's bad. But I think in Amnon's case, Amnon, if it's a time issue, I totally understand that. If you can't dedicate the time to do it, but your experience would be a lot better if you did. If you just said, today's the day. Today's going to be the day. One day you just spend time and you back everything up. The other day you figure out, you write down the list of applications that you're using. The third day you blow it away. The fourth day you start reinstalling everything. If you spread it out that way, an hour a day, that's fine. That'll work.
I mean, a backup is not a problem because it's being backed up every day.
Well, then even better. You're halfway there.
That's not the problem. The problem is to sit there and actually, because if you restore, then you didn't do any good.
No, and I wouldn't recommend restoring because then you're just reloading all the same junk you had.
Exactly. So it has to be a complete reinstall. Yeah. And probably when I reinstall, I will reinstall less programs and make it probably easier to do it again.
Exactly.
But it's right now it's not a priority because it's fine.
Mike, you had a similar thing where you were talking about doing a format, and it took you a while to do it, right?
Well, it always takes me a while because I still have an XP machine that I use because it's going to take forever to move everything over. And what's so silly about it is the machine I'm going to move everything over to is an i7 2600K that's been sitting there for a year. But there's just a lot on it, and.
Yeah.
But is that the I mean, but is it a? I don't think this is your case, but I think for a lot of people, it's a change thing. It's a pain for them to go through any kind of change.
It's an old.
I gave a brand new computer to Jessica's grandfather because he was complaining that his 15, 16-year-old Dell wasn't fast enough. So I built him a computer. I gave him a computer, and the computer sat next to his computer for about a year, and then he gave away the computer I gave him to someone else.
Yep.
So,
we're not that bad yet, but we're getting there.
I mean, but what would be the reason not to hook that up? Is it just the fact that it's changed and it's different, and even though it's the same thing, I still have to move stuff over, and you don't want to change it.
It's just a hassle.
It's a hassle, and I've got a better word. I mean, I've got the perfect answer for you. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, but see, in your case, stuff is broken.
It's not broken.
Okay, so Amnon, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Fine, but if bigger and better is next to it and it's not going to cost you anything, why wouldn't you do that?
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I already started building my Windows 7 machine. When I have time, I put stuff on it.
Yeah.
The hardest part was getting a KVM switch that will allow me to go back and forth.
I mean, but again, this goes back down to the Windows XP thing. I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand. There are people that do not want to let go of XP because that is what they know and that is what they want.
I've been working with both for the last few years, so it's not. I mean, would I go to Windows? Would I go to Windows 8? No, because I don't know enough.
But that's a different story. But
yeah.
How many machines do you have right now that you currently actively use that are on 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are only 2 machines with XP. Well, 3 machines with XP on them. One I don't interact with. It's that big monitor in front of me in my office that I monitor what happens on it's only terminal servers.
Okay.
So I don't do anything with it. The other one that's XP is one that is part of my backup, that it's automatically backing up to it. I don't do anything with it. It's just a file server, so to speak.
Okay.
And my machine, the one that I use for every day.
So what is the reason? I'm sure you've said this, but I can't remember. What is the reason that you have not upgraded that to 7?
Time and priorities.
Okay.
I mean, if I could wave a wand and get the thing to convert to Windows 7, I would do it in a heartbeat. But you can't do it. If there was a way to actually upgrade from XP to 7, I would do that too. I would do it on another drive and make sure it works, but it'll take me probably an hour or two to do. As it is, it's going to take days to do it. And I know Nick will argue with me on it.
I know, yeah, I know.
It's going to take not days.
I would tell you not days. I would say it would
weeks.
If you prep for it.
I can't. You don't understand. I can't prep for it because I can prep all I want. And you sit there, and I have a business to run, and the phone rings, and before you know it, 6 hours are going away because I've been talking with customers. So you cannot prep.
Yeah, but Emma, how many hours did you work? You worked on Wirecast for like 4 hours.
That was a priority.
So, okay, Emma. You on that machine, and I'm doing this because I know a lot of people are in the same situation as you, where they can't devote the time to do this. They think it's going to take a while. It's going to be a hassle. So I want to see if we can make it easier and we can figure out a way that it's not difficult for people to do this. What would be the pain? It would be the backing up of everything on that computer.
No,
right?
it's already backed up.
Okay, so you're not worried about that. About information on that.
Right.
Okay, so. How about software? Is that the pain?
That is the pain, to install all that software again. And on my machine, there are probably... The what?
7? How many applications do you have on that computer that you need?
Probably hundreds.
Applications?
Oh, yeah. This is the machine that I do everything else on. I mean, my desktop is probably half full. So it's just something that it's going to take time. I need my business, I need the QuickBooks, and I need all the I mean, there are so many things in there.
Are you using? Do you think you could cut down on the 100?
Oh, I'm sure I can. I mean, it's not all these programs that I'm using. And when I redo,
what are you using? If you were to cut down and you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna install what I use.
That's how I'm doing it right now. When I know what I'm going to use, I install it on the new machine.
Okay.
But
so
remember,
let's
Andrew,
say you cut the 100 down to 25.
I have no idea. No, it's going to be more than that.
50?
Probably.
Okay.
Andrew, I'll make it easier for you. Do you know how many times I upgraded from one operating system to the next? I've been doing it. I've been doing it since the DOS days.
Sure,
I know what it's going to take. It's not like I've never done it or that I'm afraid of it or that I'm worried about anything. It's just, again, it's time and priorities.
What's the hassle?
And at this, it is a hassle, but when the hassle point goes away when you think about, but after I do it, things are going to be so much nicer. So that negates the hassle. But I'm at a point of my life right now that if I have an hour free, I would go in the living room and watch Star Trek for an hour instead of sitting and working on upgrading a computer that is still working. It's fine. I mean, I'm still doing my billing. I'm still doing all my emailing. I'm still doing everything I need to do on the XP machine. I have no problem with it. As a matter of fact, I have to remember to reboot it. XP is not supposed to stay up for weeks at a time. My XP stays.
You're happy with it because it's good enough.
Exactly. This is a tool. I mean, I have a hammer. It's 3 pounds. It's good enough for me. I have to knock on a hammer on a nail 5 times before it goes in. I can go and buy a 5-pound hammer, and it'll be more efficient. I'll only knock 2 times. Am I doing it? No. How often do I do that? So it's a matter of priorities and time. And sure, I mean, if I was 20 years old, do what? Sorry.
I'm amazed that you have that many applications.
It's just that over the years, and remember, I mean, XP's been running here since 2000. When did XP come out?
2001.
Probably since 2003, because I never go into it right away.
2002, I think, 14 years.
So whatever. I mean, it was about a year or two after it came out that I upgraded. There are a lot of... Now, do I need all of them? When I look at it, I said, I never use this, and I never use that. So every now and then, I will actually go ahead and uninstall a program because I don't use it anymore. But there are a lot of them there that I use, and in that kind of business, I have programs that I can't do without. And to configure them again will be a pain because I cannot just port the configuration to Windows 7.
I have gone directly to the cloud with everything, even my invoicing. I just do PayPal invoicing. That's how I do my invoicing.
Yeah,
now.
but
So
you see, I cannot.
go to the cloud. So for me, I have no applications that are important to me.
Oh, that would actually be nice. I cannot do that.
I have nothing on my everyday laptop that I need to keep that I cannot get with a matter of minutes. I mean, really, Office. I have Office on here. I have to download that and install that.
Right.
All my documents are on the cloud. I'm using iTunes, so that's automatically installed. So I have to download Firefox. I have to download Chrome. I have to download Skype and a tweeting application. And let's see what else I have here. I have TeamViewer. That's it.
Off the top of my head, I would need to install QuickBooks. And at that point, I need to get QuickBooks, Intuit help over there because I don't do it often enough to know how to do it. I have to install my FTP program.
Okay.
And I can always start and configure the different sites as I use them. I have to get my SSH program and actually configure it for everything, for all the servers. I have to install my billing program for the ISP program, billing program, which is not very easy because it's old. I have to, where else do I use? I have to install my submission program, the one that I submit to search engines, which is not easy to use to reinstall and get all the configuration in. So I'll have to spend a few hours to build those profiles. And then up there, and Office is no problem. What else do I use? This is mainly the ones that I have to have. There is no way that I can go through a day without using these programs that I just said. And there's probably other ones that I can't think about. I'm looking at where they are situated on the desktop. But it's just that it's going to take a few hours, and I cannot do it all at one time because I may have the time, I may not have the time. So I choose wait until later on. Now I decided, okay, I'm going to do it slowly. And Mike said one thing very, very important one day. He said, you never start using a new machine, a new operating system, until you start using the email on that machine. And that is so true. And my email is still, and look, and my email on the XP machine is still Outlook Express.
Wow.
I cannot use this on Windows 7. I'm going to have to start using Windows Live. I hate Outlook, so I need to get used.
Why don't you just use Gmail?
Because I'm used to working with Popmail and have everything on my machine.
Or use Outlook. Why don't you use
It's
Outlook?
not because Outlook is bloated. I don't need all the yeah.
Windows Live Mail is nothing but repackaged.
I understand,
Outlook.
but it looks different.
Not much.
I mean, when a customer calls me and they use Live Mail and they need help, I have to go to Google on Live Mail how to do something because I don't have the experience with it.
All right, here's the problem.
And you can't get the experience while you're actually productive.
There were actually two versions of quote-unquote Live Mail. One that was heavily cloud-based, And then there's the one that is the Outlook Express replacement.
Yeah.
And you would get used to it probably in about an hour.
Maybe. I mean, I have it on this machine that I installed about three years ago, but I use it once a month, maybe.
But here's how I do it. I have multiple email accounts. For example, when I was dead into woodworking, I subscribed to a number of woodworking email lists. And not wanting all that stuff in my other email, I set up Windows Live Mail to be able to subscribe to those lists. And I mean, now I've used to it. It even has some functions in it that Outlook Express didn't have that I like better than Outlook Express. And I did like Outlook Express. It was easy, simple, and it just worked. Unless you lost your index file, then you were screwed.
Yeah, and if you do backups all the time, like I do, 4 times a day, then it's fine. And Obanta is asking, how do I do it with less than 4 gigabytes? I don't leave all these programs open all the time. I open and close. When I need to use QuickBooks, I open it, I do my work, I close it. When I need to use, the only thing that stay open all the time are my terminal programs, the SSH, my email, and a browser if I need it. So I really don't. I mean, memory was not a concern, or 64-bit was never a concern.
I'd like to shift gears before Andrew disappears.
I'm here.
Is that okay? I'm not?
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The 28 coolest new businesses in New York City.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Did you there?
Well, I've read through them all, but I'm not going to mention them all because some of them are just stupid, but it is New York. I'm just curious. I'm going to hit you, Andrew. And really, as I ask these, I have 2 questions, really.
Okay.
One is whether you've heard of it, and 2, why you think it's catching on in New York, because you know how weird people are up there.
I do.
Yes. The first one is called Aqua, and it is a cycling studio with a pool. What that means is the cycles are submerged in the pool so that the water will add resistance to the cycle.
Yes.
Okay.
Resistance training.
Have you heard of it?
Now, in working out, everything is resistance-based, so it's less weight. You don't do any weights, but you're doing all resistance-type workouts.
So why is this catching on in New York?
I think it's catching on everywhere. It's a trend that's picking up.
Bar Bacon. It's a bar where everything on the menu has bacon in it.
Yeah, bacon is big. Bacon made a huge comeback in like 2011, and it's now people are, opening up restaurants for it.
It's all fat and it's pork.
Yeah.
So
bacon on everything. Bacon sprinkles, bacon cupcakes, bacon cookies.
They have a bacon Bloody Mary.
That is phenomenal. I've had that.
I may be sorry I asked. Big Alice Brewing Company. It's a nano brewery making unusual beers. They're named for the power plant between Manhattan and Queens on the East River. Big Alice has no official recipes for its beers. The Long Island City Brewery makes each brew with different ingredients like jackfruit, curry, and horseradish.
That sounds amazing.
They currently brew in 10-gallon batches, but it recently installed a new 5-barrel system allowing it to brew almost 160 gallons of beer at a time.
So there's a big microbrewery craft beer movement happening in New York. I mean, it's happening in almost every major city now where people are realizing what good beer is, and people are experimenting with different types of flavors.
By the way, before if anyone's wondering, Andrew is in Queens. Because this is 8-08 43rd Road, Queens.
So it's Long Island City.
Yeah, this says Queens.
Well, that's Queens. Queens is the borough, and then there's different areas in it. Like I'm in Bayside. Bayside is Queens.
Black Seed Bagels. It's a Gorman's Bagelery. Black Seed takes one of New York's most beloved establishments, the Bagel Shop, and puts a high-end twist on it. Their Soho shop produces quality Montreal-style bagels that you can top with schmears like some of this, caviar cream cheese or almond butter, in addition to their beet-cured lox.
That sounds amazing.
Sounds nasty to me.
You don't like caviar?
No.
Ugh. Oh my God.
All right.
Nothing tops a New York bagel, I'll tell you that.
All right. Blue Apron uses a recent concept in grocery shopping that delivers all the ingredients you need to cook a meal right at your apartment. Members can sign up for a weekly subscription service and have fresh ingredients delivered, quote unquote, for free that will make 3 meals in just the right proportions. The company also promises that each meal takes 35 minutes or less to prepare.
Yeah, so I think you join, it's like a club you join, and it's $9 a person per meal.
All right, you're not going to like this.
I mean, that's pretty cheap.
I agree, but you're not going to like this.
Yeah.
All right, listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Cover. Cover lets you check in through an application once you arrive at a restaurant. It automatically adds a tip, splits the bill, and pays with your own file credit card.
Cover. Does the restaurant accept it? What restaurant accept it?
I mean, it's on. You can pay for a meal with Cover at about 100 restaurants in New York and San Francisco.
Why am I not going to like it?
Because reaching for your wallet and not getting to it quick enough is not going to work anymore.
What? Then I got to reach for my phone.
Oh, that's true. Maybe you can't get your phone to work.
Well, it's only a few places accept this thing. Well, actually, I'm looking at the menu. It's all Manhattan.
Yeah, there's this.
I mean, it's like paying with PayPal, right? I mean, if you have the PayPal app on your phone, it'll actually tell you what restaurants accept PayPal.
Yeah, we got a story on that too. Here's a place called Glam Squad that lets you schedule blowouts and hairstyling appointments that take place in your own home. When you book your appointment, a trained stylist comes to you equipped with all the tools and products needed to give you a great blowout, be careful, updo, or other style. Services start at about $50.
In New York, a lot of times people, because a lot of people their schedules are hectic, and they can't, like with the grocery stuff, it makes sense. I don't know why you can't go and get your hair done at a parlor, but with the groceries, it makes sense because nobody has cars. So if you need to do big grocery shopping, you need it delivered.
Here's another application called Hinge, and it's an online dating application that only hooks you up with friends of your friends.
Hinge?
Hinge.
I like that. Everybody could get the same disease.
Well, at least you know where it came from.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to jump in here? I don't mean to be dominating the conversation. Well, actually, I do.
Oh, you're doing fine.
Well, it's only you and Nick left.
Yeah, he had to go to work.
Yeah.
Let me see. Some of these I don't care anything about. Now, this one is interesting. Amnon, you'll be interested in this one. At least I'll be interested in your response on this one.
Okay.
Keyme, Keyme, multiple locations in New York. Keyme is a chain of kiosks that can be found around New York City where key holders can share and duplicate physical keys based on a digital scan taken and stored in the cloud. Keys can be printed on the spot or printed and shipped to you later. The company raised $8 million in April and it plans to expand in more cities around the U.S.
I don't understand. What kind of keys? For what?
The key to your door.
Why would I want to share the key to the door?
A key to a lock.
Why would I want to share it?
I don't get it. That's why I'm asking Andrew. He understands those weirdos. What's the deal here, Andrew?
What if you want to give a key to your friend?
Go to Lowe's. I mean, what gets me about this one, and this is probably the most interesting one I think that's in here. What's interesting about it is that there is enough business to support a kiosk in a mall because what's a kiosk cost up there, Andrew? About $5,000 a month?
I have no idea. This depends on the mall. I have no idea.
I mean, this just blows my mind
cheap.
that there's enough business. I mean, I like the idea that you're going to take a key and do a digital scan of it, and they're going to cut it from the digital scan. That sort of makes sense. That's kind of like 3D stuff.
Mike, there's a business for everything.
Well, that just blows my mind that there's enough business to support that sort of thing. Message.
I like that order the ingredients business. I would do that.
All right, so here you go. Only in New York. Miense is a shop by jewelry designer Michael Sager, who sells his signature leather bracelets as well as a bunch of other unisex accessories. The shop offers leather monogramming and build-your-own wrap bracelet options. Help yourself to some kombucha. On tap at the front of the shop while you browse. It is a gender-neutral jewelry shop.
I think there's a lot of those. It's everywhere.
What the heck is a gender non-neutral jewelry shop?
A gender, well, if you have stuff for men and women, you just have one now.
Unisex.
I don't get it. I mean,
instead of hearts, you have question marks.
No. I don't know.
I don't know. You walk down the streets of New York and you're in Soho. It's a little artsy, and sometimes you can't tell if it's a guy or a girl.
Well, I don't care about that, but I mean, if I wanted to walk into a jewelry store, if I wanted to look at something for a female, I'd look in this counter, male this counter. I don't get it. Anyway, next one, Nomad. Nomad is a fashionista Jesse Goldenberg hit the road in 2013 driving a 120-square-foot retrofitted delivery truck named Nomad. It's packed with Goldenberg's hand-picked selection of funky and boho chic women's fashion and locally sourced jewelry.
I like that you said fashionista and boho chic.
What is it?
I just think it's funny. I have no idea what boho chic is.
Well, you're supposed to. This is New York stuff. Now, here's an interesting one. This is an interesting one here. Let's see here.
I don't know. What is boho? What is...
I don't know. We must not be too interested. Viewers have dropped.
Are we
I
spelling
think boho's
that
like the
correctly?
West Village.
Let's see. Bohemian.
Yeah, Bohemian, yeah. West Village.
Oscar Insurance is a consumer-friendly health insurance company. It's set up to shake up the healthcare industry. The site is well-designed, easy to navigate, and tries to one-up traditional companies like Aetna and United Health by making bill paying a breeze and allowing members to consult with doctors over the phone at no additional charge.
Have you heard about the in New York? It's becoming a big thing now with the doctors, and it's like a la carte. It's home visits only.
Yeah.
Like, you said the term, Mike. I forgot what it was called when we were talking about this.
Yeah, it's.
They don't take insurance. They just show up at your house and they charge you the $200-300 to check you out, and that's it.
The doctors call it boutique.
Boutique, yeah. That's what it is. I think that's a brilliant business.
Well, you know what the problem with that, though, is?
What?
Did you know that under Hillary Care, that would have been a criminal offense to provide health care to someone without the benefit of government insurance?
Yeah.
It was a $10,000 fine, and you could be charged with a felony. I think Donovan's right. The more appropriate term now is really concierge.
Concierge service.
Yeah, where are you going, Mike? I'm going to the doctor boutique.
Yeah. So, Andrew, you'll appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're in for a good cupcake when you need to show your ID, and your treat comes with the warning, please eat responsibly.
The alcohol cupcakes.
Prohibition Bakery. Brooke and Leslie opened New York City's original alcohol-infused cupcake company in 2011, serving many cupcakes in flavors such as sangria, old-fashioned, and scotch and cigar. They magically add the booze afterward so it doesn't bake out.
I've had that. I've been there, the Prohibition Bakery. It's called Boozy Cupcakes.
Well, how am I not shocked?
They're phenomenal. They're so good.
At least you're eating.
But they're delicious.
At least you're eating something with it.
Yeah, you could order them online, actually. It's on. I think it's on Clinton Street.
Did you guys hear the story about that the 5 kids at school that got sick? 2 of them unconscious after they ate brownies that one girl brought to school, and they were spiked. They were the real brownies with all kind of stuff baked in.
were the fun brownies.
Yeah, the fun brownies.
We used to call them electric brownies.
But I mean,
I like that.
two kids actually were unconscious after eating them.
All right,
Alrighty.
enough of that.
I have to
Rump.
slowly run, but it's the end of the summer, and I haven't had a lobster roll yet. And there's a place by me called Monaghan and Fitzgerald in Justin. It's an Irish bar, but they also do really good food. We're going to go there for lobster rolls.
Ooh.
All right.
Mike, do you like lobster rolls?
No, my wife will eat them.
Oh my God, that's so good. So we're going to get 2 lobster rolls.
All right, next topic.
Okay.
This I had not really heard about.
Mm-hmm.
Apple's plan to kill PayPal.
Yeah, they've made a deal with a lot of major companies like Walmart and to accept the payment method. I think Amex is backing their payment system.
Apple has been quietly putting together a plan to blow open the mobile payments industry, making major deals with credit card companies in a move that could threaten the dominance of PayPal. These deals could make Apple the go-to source for mobile payments. Baird Equity Research published a note saying eBay and its PayPal unit were directly threatened by Apple's impending launch of a mobile payment system on the iPhone 6. For years, Apple was seen as the elephant in the room with respect to mobile and online payments, and the source of speculation around the presumed launch of a consumer payments iWallet. While there's no shortage of competition in payments, we view Apple as perhaps the most legitimate potential threat to PayPal's strong position, particularly with respect to growth opportunities at point of sale. Reports claim that Apple has signed deals with 3 major credit card companies, American Express, MasterCard, and Visa. One of the biggest problems with mobile payments has been the sheer number of different apps and services needed to pay for the things you buy every day. Between the Starbucks mobile app, Venmo, Square, Amazon, and PayPal, most users need to download, install, and hand over their card data to a variety of companies. If Apple has united 3 major cards together, then it could save users a ton of time. It's not just credit card agreements that could make Apple's rumored iWallet a major player in the mobile payments. The company has already spent a vast amount. The company already has a vast amount of credit card information, with Bloomberg reporting that there are over 800 million iTunes accounts, the majority of which have credit card information associated with them. Apple has proved over a number of years that consumers trust it with their credit card data and that it can manage a thriving ecosystem. Whether it's the App Store or iTunes, people are used to handing over their credit card information to Apple. Now here's the part that gets pretty interesting. There's a secret weapon in Apple's mobile payment arsenal, and that's Touch ID. Apple's fingerprint sensor, the first introduced with the 5S in 2013, provides an extra layer of security for the iPhone by requiring users to place their finger on the home button to scan their fingerprint. It's a neat trick for everyday usage, but combine Touch ID with NFC payments, and suddenly the advantage of dependable mobile security is clear. You could hand your phone directly to a thief, but without your fingerprints, they couldn't spend any money. If paying for goods with your mobile phone becomes ubiquitous, and Apple is hoping it will, then consumers will be looking to Apple to reassure them that the technology won't be open to accidental payments or hackers. Then it goes on and on and on and on. What do you think?
Well, we're going to find out more information on Tuesday about this, because it's going to be a big selling point of their next iPhone. But I think it's good. I don't understand credit cards and cash. I don't want to carry any of it in my wallet. I just want to go and just pay for things automatically.
Well, what you could do is program it in so that the IRS could just take whatever money they want out of your account.
That's what they should do.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Apple will be facing serious competition for its iWallet system. The global market for mobile payments is predicted to reach $1 trillion by 2017, and the industry is filled with companies looking to gain their share. PayPal launched its own mobile payment system in 2012 with PayPal Here. With no contracts and free sign-up, it's seen as a competitive option for businesses. Like Apple, PayPal already has an expansive customer base. Retailers have also been drawn to Amazon's mobile credit technology. Amazon Local registers charges dramatically. Amazon Local registers, that's the name of the service, Charges dramatically undercut its competitors, making it an attractive prospect for U.S. retailers. Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey's mobile payments company Square has been quick to introduce new technology. Its card swipe can be plugged into iPhones and iPads to turn Apple devices into mobile retail counters. Despite a recent valuation of $6 billion, the company is plagued by negative press. Rumors of severe losses and defensive blog posts have seen Square battle to keep up in the mobile payment business. I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of mobile payments yet.
I like it. I actually accepted a payment via PayPal Mobile the other day.
Well, what's interesting is I have a love-hate relationship with PayPal. The PayPal service is phenomenal. It's convenient. I like it. I use it regularly. I maintain a balance in a PayPal account. But let me tell you what happened. I don't know if it was from a different computer or what, but I tried logging into my PayPal account about 2 weeks ago, and it locked me out, which brings back stories of people have been locked out of their PayPal accounts by as much as 3 months, and PayPal won't even respond to your inquiries as to what's going on.
All right, guys, I got to go. I'm going to go get my lobster roll.
All right, take care, Bush.
All right, Andrew, thank you.
Guys. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, man. Mike, don't you have to go too?
Not yet.
Oh. I don't know that it's a threat to PayPal. It may take a chunk out of PayPal, but it's sort of like when you have Visa, MasterCard, and American Express and Discover card in your wallet, and you go somewhere to pay, and you just say, "Well, I'm going to use this now." It's the question is whether or not people will adopt it, and I'm sure all the Apple fans, iPhone. I don't know if all the iPhone people will do that, but Apple fans will probably jump on it.
Let's play what if for a second.
Yeah.
Let's just suppose, for discussion, that you became a big fan of mobile payment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably the last person in this country who would do it.
Right.
But let's just suppose that you did. And as you look at it, you say, all right, I'm going to do mobile payments, but I'm concerned about security.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep my Android phone without fingerprint validation, or I can go ahead and update to the iPhone 6 and get fingerprint validation. Which one are you going to do?
I would like to say that I would go with the iPhone and get fingerprint validation, but then it makes me, I'm not worried, but somebody who has money there, then I'm going to have to worry about somebody cutting off my thumb in order to steal my money. So I don't know.
No doubt, but I think you would agree that you're going to go for the most secure system that's available to you.
Absolutely, but there will be some others that will have that, not just iPhone.
Eventually.
I think, didn't they say that Samsung already has something like that?
I don't know.
I think
let's say
so.
They do, though. The difference is that that Apple directly interfaces with its users at a greater level. I mean, there's a store where you walk in and buy an iPhone, and even whenever you buy from a carrier, you can go to the Apple store. They definitely have a benefit over Samsung, where you have to go through a dealer or an independent retailer. There's not a Samsung store to walk in and deal with them one-on-one.
But to go on what Nick was talking about, I don't think that the younger generation cares much about where they get their device. I think we would care more. It means something to us to walk into a Samsung store or go to Verizon, for instance, that sell everything else. I would, if I had a relationship with the Verizon rep, and I know them and I trust them, I would rather go to Verizon and see what they have to tell me about the different devices and which one is more secure, which one is less, which one is what each device can do, instead of me sitting there for hours trying to research on something that I'm not really interested in. I can't go and search on thumbprint feature if that thought of having mobile payments did not enter my mind. So I would never really find out about this. But when you go to the store, they already went through a lot of different people asking different things. So they may be able to say, this one does this one does this one does that, but this one will not do this. It's nicer and more, I would feel more comfortable going to a Verizon store. But the downside of this is that they may be interested in selling me the more expensive things because they make more money out of it. So, I have no problem with PayPal. It works. It's accepted.
Fees are too high.
To be able to be a seller, it may be, and I don't think it's even that much higher than others when you're a seller. I have no idea. What do you sell stuff? Do you get paid by PayPal?
That's two different questions. The answer is no and yes.
Okay, so if you are getting paid, do you know the fee that they charge percent-wise?
I don't recall, but it would be cheaper for the guy to FedEx me a check for next day delivery.
Oh, no, check, of course. But I mean, I accept credit cards. And I'm paying about 3.5%.
Yeah, but you need to look into that, Amnon, because I was in a store recently a buddy of mine runs, and while I was there, he had a salesman calling on him selling credit card processing.
Yeah.
He was offering something like 1 3/4%.
Yeah, but I go through it about 3 or 4 times a year. The 1.8% is for the fee, but then there is a per transaction and per this and per that, and before you know it, it's actually more than the 3.5% that I'm paying, which is, that's it, 3.5%. There is no added on fees, and I do it through my bank, and believe me, I'm trying, and people are calling and saying, look, let's compare and find out. And when they sit down and they take the numbers and they work them and they say, I don't know how your bank is charging you that much. And it's going to get to a point where the bank is going to charge more, and then, yes, I'll go back. But right now, I'm going to have to go and accept PayPal because of hopefully a bunch of customers that are going to move to Delta Force who are paying with PayPal right now. And that's the only way. They don't have checks or anything. It's organizations, nonprofit organizations that don't have checkbooks and things like that. So they're used to do it like that. And it's fine. I mean, I sold on PayPal years ago, but I haven't
eBay.
used the selling part.
You sold on eBay and took PayPal.
I sold on eBay and took PayPal. Correct.
You didn't sell on PayPal.
Yeah.
But again, giving PayPal its credit, they pioneered the industry. They get the credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
The ability for a small-time merchant to be able to take a credit card for a home craft business, that's gold-plated. That's extraordinarily a good thing. It's good for business. It's good for individuals.
Absolutely.
The problem is that they're an independent bunch, and if you aggravate them, boy, they'll teach you who's boss. I thought that whenever I got locked out, it wouldn't get back in. It said sometimes just wait, so I waited till the next morning, logged back in. It was fine, but and obviously I don't need the money to live on. But some people have their entire business in PayPal. That's insane. You should never leave any more money in a PayPal account than you're willing to do without for about 3 months.
Well,
even if you threaten to sue them, it'd take a month to get into court.
The one bad thing about PayPal, they always side with the buyer.
Yep.
And I was actually talking to Tom Sinclair this week, and he was telling me that he sold a copy of VidBlaster on PayPal, and he put there, this was some years ago, and he put there that there is no refunds. This is a piece of software that when you get, if you register it, that's it. There's no returns. He said somebody bought it, and about 2 weeks later, they decided they don't want it anymore because it didn't do, but they registered it. And when they went to mediation with PayPal, PayPal sided with the buyer, and they took the money right out of Tom's account and gave it to the buyer. And the software, I mean, there's no way that you can take the software back or do anything with it.
You should be able to block the serial number. If I had a software as expensive as VidBlaster, I would have some way of invalidating the serial number.
I don't think that it makes a difference because what the person can still use it. It's not that the number is being checked every time you start the program. It's only for the registration.
And I don't like that phone home stuff either. But I have been involved in businesses my whole life, and yes, I have sold on eBay. Yes, I have had website sales with PayPal as credit card. I did quite a lot of money one year using PayPal, and everything went just fine. It was great. The fees were high, but we just added the fee back into the quote unquote shipping and handling charge, which is really nothing more than the total sales price anyway.
Right. No, I mean,
anyway,
it's easy to work. It's easy to build yourself a quote unquote shopping cart. It's not as sophisticated as other shopping carts, but for somebody to do business at home or a really small business, it's great. And they give you all the tools to do it, and it works.
On a different subject, I wanted Donovan to comment on this. He may have heard something about it because it's at least somewhat related to some things he's been involved in, I think, maybe not. 17 fake cell phone towers were discovered across the United States last week. Rather than offering you cell phone service, the towers appear to be connecting to nearby phones, bypassing their encryption, and either tapping calls or reading texts. Les Goldsmith, the CEO of ESD America, used ESD's Crypto Phone 500 to detect 17 bogus cell phone towers. With most phones, these fake communications towers are undetectable, but the Crypto Phone 500 is a customized Android device that is disguised as a Samsung Galaxy S3, but has highly advanced encryption. The towers were found in July, but the report implied that there may be more out there. Although it's unclear who owns the towers, ESD found that several of them were located near U.S. military bases. Let's see what it says. They say it's probably not the NSA because that agency can tap all it wants without the need for bogus towers. Computer World points out that the fake tower, and this is why I bring this up, the Computer World points out that the fake towers give themselves away by crushing down the performance of your phone from 4G to 2G while the intercept is taking place. If you see your phone operating on a slow download signal while you're near a military base, maybe make that call from somewhere else. In an amazing coincidence, police departments in a handful of U.S. cities have been operating Stingray or Hailstorm towers, which conduct surveillance on mobile phone activity. They do that by jamming mobile phone signals, forcing phones to drop down from 4G and 3G network bands to the older, more insecure 2G band.
So they have to put it somewhere where there's a good chance that somebody will be in the area to do something. How many people do you know that walk around and they care about the 3G or 4G or 2G as far as being able to detect a speed change when you walk around?
If you are a regular 4G user and you are a power user of your phone, if your service drops from 4G to 2G, you'll know it.
Okay. I'm not a power user of.
It's the difference between internet on Time Warner and dial-up. or worse.
So what does Donovan say?
Well, he hasn't said anything yet. Dr. John is familiar with the crypto phone. He says it's $3,500. He says the towers are portable. Now, having read this story, don't misunderstand. I suspect that there are probably some very legitimate reasons for what's going on here. I don't. It's like the article says. The NSA doesn't need it. I'm not into the idea that somebody's spying on us with these bogus towers out there. It's probably, I don't know, Homeland Security. Maybe it's the military, and maybe they don't need to advertise. Maybe this is not good that this information is out.
Well, it can be out, but you still have to find out and to know which ones are which.
I don't know. I'm asking. All right, so Donovan says the CEO behind Cryptophone said, think of it as a cellular repeater. You put a cellular repeater in your building to give you better coverage. All your calls pass through the repeater. An interceptor pretends to be a cell tower and passes your call on like a cellular repeater. It just turns off encryption on the way so that it can listen. Glenn Beck interviewed the CEO of Cryptophone. And Obata says it sounds like the typical man-in-the-middle attack. JMB says it's the mob.
Or the Borg.
Well, what I'm saying here is this does not necessarily suggest to me that there's anything nefarious going on. It's to me that it's interesting, not a big deal.
It's all right. Skynet's coming.
What's Skynet?
Oh, you didn't watch any of the Terminator movies?
No.
Well, that's a shame.
Well, tell us.
Skynet was when the machines took over. They became self-aware. And they took over and started exterminating people. Become a big battle. The Terminator was one of the robots that were, not robots, but one of the androids, I guess, was covered with skin. And he come back to kill the original, the guy that started. You have to see the movie. It gets involved. There's 3 of them. Arnold Schwarzenegger played the Terminator in 2 of them. Well, 3 of them, actually.
Donovan says Google is Skynet.
Yeah. And most likely Linux will be running Skynet. It's such a joke.
Oh, okay. Drew Carey weighs in on an ice bucket challenge prank and offers to donate $10,000. Drew Carey has weighed in on social media after a Bay Village boy with autism was bullied on video. Carey, who was born and raised in Cleveland, offered $10,000 as either a reward or a donation to Autism Speaks after hearing about a prank. Video of the bullying first aired Wednesday at the request of the 15-year-old victim's parents. The parents wanted people to see the cruel prank they say high school students pulled on their son. They said their son thought he was taking the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise money for ALS research. But instead, high school students dumped a bucket of human waste and cigarette butts on him.
Ah, gee, criminy.
The prank has sparked outrage in Northeast Ohio and even across the country. Carey tweeted after seeing the story Friday. He called it horrendous and said these kids should be arrested and expelled. He also tweeted that he would donate $10,000 to start a reward fund or give the money to Autism Speaks organization. What does it take to debase society to the point that someone would consider doing something like that? What is going on? I wish Nick were here.
It went on when I was a kid. It's taken me forever to get over that high school crap.
Well, I guess I had a sheltered life. I didn't have any of that happen. I mean, pranks are pranks, and fun is fun, and sometimes they go a little beyond what they should be. But dumping human waste on someone, that ought to be a felony.
Well, it should be, because it's like murder. You don't know what's in that waste.
Absolutely.
I
We
mean,
won't
that
go
kid could
into
have
all that.
AIDS now.
Well, we hope not, but you never know. Abanta says just less public now without the internet. Well, maybe then the internet's good for something, because that's just unreal. I mean, that to me should be a felony to do it to someone who's not challenged in other ways, but to do it to someone who's struggling to fit in and to be a part of society and dealing with an issue like autism, and then have somebody do that, I don't get it.
Public caning is just illegal, but sometimes it's necessary.
Well, that would be, and I would suggest that these guys can probably be redeemed, but
Yeah, after they get their keisters whipped good.
yeah.
But
Block
see, we
high-speed
don't give
internet
them. You don't give
expansion.
them what they give.
Here you go, Amnon.
Here I
Block
go.
high-speed internet expansion. That's the message that cable companies are sending to the FCC concerning the plans of Wilson, North Carolina, and Chattanooga, Tennessee. On Friday, U.S. Telecom, which represents Comcast, Time Warner, and others, told the FCC that the success of public broadband is a mixed record with numerous examples of failures. Writing in a blog post, the duopoly wrote, "With state taxpayers on the financial hook when a municipal broadband network goes under, it's entirely reasonable for state legislatures to be cautious in limiting or even prohibiting that activity." According to a report from The Guardian, Chattanooga boasts the largest high-speed internet service in the United States, providing its customers access to speeds of 1 gigabyte, 50 times faster than the national average. Municipally owned EPB provides the Tennessee-based service, and their performance has ignited a boom in the tech industry for the city, while putting the world on notice. EPB is now petitioning the FCC to expand its territory, The Guardian adds, noting that Comcast and others have previously sued unsuccessfully to stop EPB's fiber optic rollout. In Wilson, North Carolina, the town's 49,000 inhabitants are set to benefit from the Greenlight project after complaints about price and quality were leveled against telecom giant Time Warner, which has responded by lobbying state government to ban the service.
Trying to remain a monopoly.
We need to bring that Ayatollah.
Well, all right, well, that's all I have. Unless you want to talk about the speed trap in Florida.
No.
Okay.
Let's see
The
if I
state
have-
of Florida's a speed trap.
Well, that's right, you're in Florida. Well, see, now we have to ask you, have you ever heard of Waldo?
Nope. Sorry.
The,
I know where Sweden, South Carolina is.
Waldo faces a scandal following allegations that the town victimizes motorists to turn a profit. 2 police chiefs have been suspended, the police department has rebelled, and the state is investigating wrongdoing. The situation simmered for years until this month when Police Chief Mike Szabo was suspended, apparently in response to an investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The issue burst into open 2 weeks later at a Waldo City Council meeting when a group of police officers said they had been ordered by Szabo to write at least 12 tickets per 12-hour shift or face repercussions. The officers also leveled allegations at the meeting against Corporal Kenneth Smith, who had been picked to fill in for Szabo. The officers complained that Smith had, among other things, mishandled evidence. The city council then suspended Smith. Not surprisingly, things are tense at the tiny stucco storefront office that serves as Waldo City Hall. On Friday morning, the mayor, Louis Davis, and city manager Kim Worley met in a small cluttered office to discuss the controversy. Waldo has long had a reputation as a speed trap, but the allegations made by the police officers were particularly stunning since ticket quotas are illegal under Florida law. And I'll end with this paragraph. In 2013, numbers are hard to follow, but this is interesting. In 2013, Waldo's 7 police officers filed 11,603 traffic citations. That compares with 25,000, a little over 2.5 times as much, citation in 2013 for Gainesville, which has 300 police officers and 128,000 residents, including thousands of college students. And that is the answer to the question, where's Waldo?
He is in Waldo.
So.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, well.
Oh, did you want to?
Nope, I'm done.
Did you hear the story about TwitPic? Did you ever use TwitPic?
I have used TwitPic, and I haven't heard the story about it. What's the story with TwitPic?
It says photo service TwitPic has announced that it will close on September 25th after Twitter threatened to cut off its API access if it didn't drop its trademark filing. Here's the relevant part from the post. It says, a few weeks ago, Twitter contacted our legal department demanding that we abandon our trademark application or risk losing access to their API. This came as a shock to us since TwitPic has been around since early 2008, and our trademark application has been in the US PTO, the Patent and Trademark Office, since 2009. TwitPic had recently overcome the last obstacle to its application when Twitter contacted the company during the published for opposition phase. TwitPic founder Noah Everett wrote that since TwitPic doesn't have the funds to face off against Twitter, the company decided to shut down instead. In the next few days, TwitPic plans to release a feature to allow users to export their photos. And then there's an update. A Twitter spokesperson provided the following statement. We're sad to see TwitPic is shutting down. We encourage developers to build on top of the Twitter service, as TwitPic has done for years, and we made it clear that they could operate using the TwitPic name. Of course, we also have to protect our brand, and that includes trademarks tied to the brand.
Okay, I'm confused. Because I'm looking at the registration for TwitPic, Twitpic. Is that what we're talking about?
That's correct.
The application to register that trademark was filed on October 3rd, 2013. And it was granted on June 24th.
I don't know.
It is for computer services, namely providing websites and providing temporary use of non-downloadable mobile application software that gives users the ability to upload, download, exchange, and share pictures and text. Now, that's one TwitPic. There are 3 or 4 of the dead ones. And it's also interesting to note that TwitPic is located in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, there is another TwitPic here that is also in Charleston, South Carolina, that it had an abandoned application, abandonment date November 26, 2013. Let's see what they're doing here.
That's really a shame if
Well, now this application was filed on October 2009. But what's interesting is that the Patent and Trademark Office was unwilling to grant the application. Likelihood, confusion, rejection. It's too much to go into on the air right now.
Yeah, but I mean, the name is TwitPic. Why is this? How is that in any way conflicts with Twitter?
I thought that TwitPic was owned by Twitter because I recall seeing in TweetDeck or somewhere that it said, why not use Twitter's own picture service, TwitPic? But obviously that's not the case.
Well, so there are.
Well, how much money you're going to make? Well, how do you make money?
I have no idea. That's a good. I was just thinking the same thing.
Where's the money?
Yeah.
Here's one called TwitPic that was abandoned in 2000. Abandoned in 2010. It was owned by Image Shack Corporation, and I remember that name.
In Charleston, South Carolina?
No, these guys are out in Los Gatos, California.
Oh.
All right, let's wrap it up, Amnon. Got to run.
All right. Well, Pete, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
And
One of these days I'm going to find something solid to talk about.
the what?
One of these days I'm going to find something solid
That's
to talk
okay.
about.
And in the meantime, you need to figure out how to mute yourself when you're talking in the background. Just something to get used to turn
okay.
down the volume or something, because the minute it starts noisy when you're yelling something in the background, I have to mute you.
Oh,
Y'all can talk
sorry.
off air, and he can show you how to do that.
No. Anyway, Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, in the chat for tuning.
Y'all have a big one.
The what?
Y'all have a big one.
You too. Take care. Thank you for tuning into Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe and like videos on our YouTube channel. Tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Breaking Free. And we'll see you.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Help In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. That VidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.